Part 11. Yang Mi, My Daughter Catches Ghosts. Scared millions of viewers. Author, Tianyi Madman. Chapter 101. Little girl, you don't have martial ethics. As a practitioner, don't you know what the spirit of martial arts is? This is Sakurajima country. What you represent is the image of you Chinese practitioners. I am the elder of the Yuling sect, Mayonaga Fukata. If you have the guts, fight me openly. An old woman's voice sounded from around Yuling shrine. Only his voice is heard but his person is not seen. Obviously. This is an elder of the Yuling sect named Fukata Mayonomi. Because of the lessons learned, they were so frightened that they did not dare to show their faces. This made the people of Sakurajima Kingdom feel even more shameless. But it's understandable. Have no idea. That little girl named Joshio is really too strong and domineering. Take action at the slightest disagreement. And it's ridiculously powerful. So far, the sword has not been taken out of its sheath, but it has already killed 2 Yuling sect elders. No matter who it is, who wouldn't be afraid? To this older woman's question, Joshio, the little sword fairy in white, didn't bother to respond at all. Just holding the red sword in his hand, he stood there quietly waiting. But the cameraman Joshii, a part-time reporter, couldn't help but curled his lips. The undisguised look of disgust and disdain on his face. Don't talk about martial ethics. What kind of international joke are you kidding? It's you Yulingmen who covet our Chinese treasures first. Another sneak attack, another hostage taking. Now you talk to us about martial ethics. Our master has a reputation and is here to destroy your Yuling section. I'm not here to have a fair duel with you. I'm here to stop talking about some woolly martial ethics. The Viper sweetheart, her performance is still stable. She was so stunned that she was speechless. The people of Sakurajima Kingdom were even more embarrassed and unable to hold their heads up. It was already embarrassing enough. This is again. What old woman, who is very 1-3-3, says she doesn't follow martial ethics? She must be stupid now. She was taught a lesson by a 5-year-old girl, and she can't refute it. Because what others said, it's all the truth. Do you think it's over if you don't dare to speak anymore? It's not over yet on Joshii's side. Let's talk about your so-called martial arts spirit. In fact, what you want to flaunt is the Bushido spirit of your Sakurajima country. It's a matter of politeness and quality as a citizen of Sakurajima country. Haha, I can't answer you more accurately than with my father's evaluation of you. He is a human being in front of others and a ghost behind others. There are small details but no great righteousness. When someone is around or there is a camera, you bow your head and bow constantly, wishing you could kowtow to each other, kneel and lick each other. But what about in private? One is more psychopathic than the other. I really thought that the human-like behavior you presented was your true image. Have you been pretending for so long that you are almost moved by yourself? Do you really think you are so humble and reasonable, so great and upright? Over the years, you little devils have committed countless crimes and are extremely cruel. Especially your Yuling sect. Back then, in order to practice evil arts, they burned, killed, looted and committed all kinds of evil in our land of China. In Nanjing City alone, there are hundreds of thousands of wronged souls, and they are still unable to transcend reincarnation. They are simply worse than pigs and dogs. And recently, you discharge nuclear sewage into the sea. Do you think the sea is your home? The sins you have committed must be borne by yourself. Why should the people of the world suffer with you? The more Joshii talked, the angrier she became. She pinched her waist and kept blaring her small mouth. She scolded the entire Sakurajima kingdom again. The Chinese audience in the live broadcast room was dumbfounded. It took a long time. Think of it, applaud. Wow, haha, people are in front of people, and ghosts are behind people. Well done. Xiao Shi I is indeed my strongest mouth substitute. This is too awesome. There are small details but no big meaning. That's the most pertinent comment. I still remember that in the past, Hibiki often talked about the etiquette of Sakurajima country, and the cleanliness of the streets. In reality, it's just a donkey dung egg with a shiny surface. Yes, at the last Olympics, during my small days, I was picking up trash at the venue. But he was scolded miserably. I haven't even picked up the garbage in my own country, haha. The well-founded analysis behind it is the most awesome part. Let the facts speak for themselves, it's like a big bang, haha. It must be because of the subtle influences, her big pig-footed dad and Mimi spread a lot of positive energy to her. Just now, there were a few people from Sakurajima talking in the barrage area, but now the ones being scolded have completely disappeared. Haha, I've been scolded so much that I can't even think of typing. And they have no shame, otherwise, we will definitely attack them in groups. At this time, the number of people online in the live broadcast room reached 80 million. For a live show, 80 million people online in real time, is definitely an amazing thing. Of course, most of them are Chinese people. Only a small number of people from abroad came over the mountains and ridges. In the barrage area and comment area, 99% of them are Chinese characters, and occasionally there are pronunciations from other countries. Previously, there were still some texts from Sakurajima Kingdom that wanted to appear. After these few waves come down, it's completely gone. It's such a disgrace. You've been thrown into grandma's house, how can you dare to speak? You thought that was the end? No. Joshi I was holding a camera in one hand and pinching her waist with the other. He scolded Sakurajima Kingdom from top to bottom, inside and outside. The scolding was flowing freely, but when he still had more to say, two figures dressed as ninjas. Suddenly, sisters Joshi I and Joshio appeared on both sides of them out of thin air. In each hand, there was a dagger coated with poison, shining dark green light in the sun. Buzz buzz. The moment they revealed themselves, the two ninja figures no longer needed to hide their auras. The true energy in the body is running wildly. A dazzling brilliance bloomed from the dagger. Stabbed the hearts of sisters Joshi I and Joshio respectively, so fast. Beyond imagination. Originally, they used ninjutsu to sneak up to the two sisters before taking action. And once it's launched, it's a killing blow with all its strength. If he were an ordinary monk faced with such an attack, I'm afraid it's really going to be doomed. Unfortunately, what they faced was not an ordinary monk at all. In the blink of an eye, the two sisters reacted at the same time. Joshio, the little sword fairy in white, still uses her fingers as swords. The two green jade fingers instantly burst out with sword light. Ding! Joshio's slender jade fingers and the poison-coated dagger collided together. And what hit was the tip of the dagger. This scene shocked everyone. That was a dagger coated with poison. Sister October, are you crazy? Even if it is not poisonous, the material of the dagger is not ordinary at first glance. How can you use your own fingers to touch the tip of the needle? Click. There was a crisp sound. I don't know how many people felt their hearts suddenly stagnant. They couldn't bear to look directly at the bloody scene that followed. I even thought about it, if something happens to Sister October, I must shout key, use the keyboard as a weapon, and use all kinds of extreme swear words that I have been immersed in for many years. Damn these sneak attacks, Sakurajima devils. But it's a pity. Their Kikum was destined to be impossible to shout out. That crisp sound was indeed the sound of something breaking. But it wasn't Joshio's finger. But that Sakurajima ninja had a dagger coated with poison. When the tip of the sword and the tip of the dagger touched, Joshio's fingers were covered with a layer of extremely bright sword light. The sword light is as solid as if it has substance, and it is indestructible and indestructible. He actually directly smashed the poisonous dagger in the hand of the Sakurajima ninja. No, not just smashed it. Instead, it was directly bombarded into fragments of broken pieces. How can it be? My dagger is a treasure made from meteorites from outside the sky. The ninja in black finally couldn't hold it back and screamed. And you can tell from the voice. She is the elder of Yulingman just now, who doesn't talk about martial ethics or martial arts spirit when she opens her mouth, Fukata Mayagama. After being left speechless by Joshii and unable to refute, she actually united with others and directly launched a sneak attack. And, the sneak attack failed in the end. Chi. After the dagger in his hand shattered, the sword light inspired by Joshio did not dissipate. It is an indomitable spirit that runs through the heart of Mayon Fukata. And on the other side, the picture is relatively simple and clear. Just when the Sakurajima country ninja was about to attack Joshii, Joshii opened her small mouth and said only one word. Soldier. At that moment, everything was lost. The black-clad ninjas of Sakurajima Kingdom were also confused. What the hell is Bing? Is it Bing, or is it ice? Suddenly, the man suddenly thought of the 9-character mantra of China. Lin, soldier, fight, person, all, formation, array, advance, line. When this little girl dealt with their disciple, Kuraba Junko, it seemed that she just said the word Lin. So Junko Kuraba stepped foot into the ground, leaving only her head outside. Could it be that this is really it? It turns out, he guessed correctly, but it was too late. As Joshii's word Bing came out, he felt that the poisonous dagger in his hand was suddenly out of his control. Poof! The sound of flesh being cut sounded clearly in his ears. Can't it be clear? It's coming from myself. The dagger that was clearly in his hand had now changed direction. It penetrated straight into his throat. Why is this happening? What on earth is this? What kind of evil magic do you do? I have not been on the bridge for a long time. How could he die so tragically? Covering his bleeding throat. The eyes of this black-clad ninja from Sakurajima country were full of confusion and unwillingness. When he launched the sneak attack, it was not that he had not thought that he would be in danger and be killed. But he had imagined thousands of possibilities. I never thought that the little girl carrying the camera didn't even move a finger. He just opened his mouth and said one word. Just kill yourself. Hee. You were still criticizing me just now, and you don't talk about martial ethics. Promote your spirit of Bushido. In a blink of an eye, the ninjutsu assassination trick is here, right? How interesting. It's okay if you succeed. You can also become a victor and a loser. The key point is that you failed, tisk, that's so embarrassing. Joshio retracted her finger, with a look of disgust and contempt on her face. She was a little scornful, and said with a slight smile to the elder of the Yuling sect, Mayon Fukata. Fukata Mayagami wanted to say something before she died to leave herself innocent. But he found that he still had nothing to say. The one who wants to talk about martial ethics and the spirit of Bushido is indeed himself. The one who secretly attacked and killed with ninjutsu was indeed himself. In comparison, it seems that the one who doesn't follow martial ethics is himself. At least they were using their swords openly. And I and others are like maggots hiding in the dark. Sister October, what I just said is right, right. This Sakurajima devil just likes to do one thing in front of others and another behind others. He is despicable and ruthless. The key is not to have a long memory. Like this one on my side. He's going to die, and there's so much nonsense. He even didn't forget to announce his home address and his name. It wasn't long before he was on the bridge. What? Are you famous? Or do you want to be famous all over the world? Let everyone know, Why did you fail to launch a sneak attack and then committed a perfect suicide? Even the little sword fairy Joshio in white couldn't help but complain. How could the famous ghost hunting master, the poisonous snake sweetheart Joshii, miss this opportunity? When he complained, there was no ambiguity in the least. That one is called Dichiao Shangweiju. The elder of the Yuling sect was still breathing. Now that he heard Joshii's words, he couldn't hold back his breath at all. He rolled his eyes, kicked his legs, and walked away. No, he didn't can go west. The moment the yin spirit in his body just flew out, Joshii made a seal. At the same time, she opened the spirit bag in her hand and took him in directly. Including Fukata on the other side. Zhen Yangmei's ghost has not been let go. Although they are all the most common and low-level ghosts at this time. But as monks, it is still very simple for them to cultivate into evil ghosts or something like that. Joshii feels that she is catching the big plan of screwing in bricks and mortar. One step closer to success. Damn it! Awesome, awesome. Sister October and Little 11 are so awesome. When I found out that they were being attacked by surprise, I was almost scared to death. After all, the 4.5 ninjas of Sakurajima Kingdom are still famous, and they were so close just now. Who says it's not? Unexpectedly, these two sisters remained calm in the face of danger at such a young age. I completed the counter-attack easily, and I accepted it anyway. Sister October used her fingers to smash the guy's dagger to pieces. This was really fierce. Xiao Shii is also very fierce. Without even moving his fingers, he just said one word, the other party directly fucked him to death, haha. Is Sakurajima country so angry that he doesn't even want to show his face? What were we talking about martial ethics and Bushido just now? Now, who doesn't respect martial ethics and engages in sneak attacks? So, what Xiao 11 said just now is very pertinent. Don't want the country of Green Lotus Sakura Island. No need for the country of Sakurajima. In the live broadcast room, the people of China. After a heart-pounding experience, emotions continued to run high. Don't use the words billion Sakurajima country and swipe the screen like crazy. As for the people of Sakurajima Kingdom, forget it. I couldn't hold my head up anymore. After this, after the slap in the face, he even buried his head in his crotch. I don't know if it's because of shame. Or they like to entertain themselves like this. After all, the hobbies of Sakurajima people are all kinds of strange. Not surprising. The viewers in the live broadcast room were very happy to watch the live broadcast, and they were also very happy to scroll through the screen. But at the scene, the little sword fairy Joshii in white was a little unhappy. Even a little irritable. Killing them one by one is so tedious. How many people are there inside this turtle shell? Where is the master of the Yuling sect? Take all of you and come out quickly to fight to the death. That's right. Joshio actually disliked killing like this too slowly. He issued an ultimatum to the Yuling Gate and the Yuling Shrine on the highest mountain. Prepare to beat everyone by yourself. Yang Mi, my daughter catches ghosts. Scared millions of viewers. Author, Tianyi Madman. Chapter 102. Yulingman, inside the Yuling Shrine. Hashimoto Jiro, the leader of the Yuling sect, and the remaining 9 elders, heard Joshio's bold words about wanting to challenge all of them alone. One by one, their faces were all livid. Not long ago, I was unprepared. The entire sect was destroyed in one fell swoop. Hashimoto Jiro was stunned on the spot. I am thinking about how to preserve the remaining old bones of the Yuling sect. At least there's still a spark left. Who would have thought? However, there were a few elders who did not believe in evil and felt that they could kill the little baby. Finally, one after another, they died tragically at the hands of others. They are impulsive and it doesn't matter if they die. Also let the Yulingmen, and even the entire Sakurajima kingdom. Time and time again, he followed them to embarrassment, making Jiro Hashimoto even more depressed and angry. It's good now. The entire Yuling sect was put up. People were clamoring outside, wanting one person to challenge everyone else. It would be a shame to take action now, and it would be a shame not to take action. A group of old guys who have lived for hundreds of years gang up on a little girl who is only 6 years old? No matter how shameless Sakurajima is, it's impossible to do such a thing in front of the camera. Not to mention all of them. Even if he, the sect leader, takes action, they all bully the small ones. Even if he wins, he will lose face. And if not, isn't it true that the entire Yuling sect has become a tortoise? Don't talk about people from other countries. Even the people of Sakurajima Kingdom. A mouthful of saliva could drown oneself and others. This made Hashimoto Jiro very embarrassed. It would be nice if there was no live broadcast. He now seriously doubts that this live broadcast was also planned. It's a pity that I figured it out a little late. Even if we try to destroy it now, it's already too late. Alas, everyone. Come out with me. Finally, Hashimoto Jiro sighed, stood up, and walked outside. Yulingman, between the mountains. After Joshia finished shouting those words, she stood up with her sword in hand. Joshia on the side was doing her job as a photographer conscientiously. Of course. He also works part-time as a reporter and announcer. Hello 27 hello. The person inside the big turtle shell listens. Your Yuling sect has been surrounded by our two Jo sisters. I remember the name of your sect leader, Hashimoto Jiro, right? The Nanjing massacre in China, the massacre of hundreds of thousands of people, was planned by you behind the scenes. Quickly bring your remnant soldiers and old generals, come out and lead them to death to apologize. Otherwise, this girl will have to break the formation directly with brute force. But my father said that every sect will have a secret treasure house, which is the place with the strongest defense. The sect has a longer history. The more treasures there are inside. Is this girl still waiting to harvest the spoils of war? So I don't want to break it open with brute force, you turtle shell, so as not to damage my baby. But if you little Japanese devils from Sakurajima Kingdom are still stubbornly resisting, you're welcome, girl. With the blessing of Genkai, Joshii's little mouth was like a loudspeaker. It reverberated throughout the Yuling section. Everyone in the live broadcast room couldn't help but laugh when they heard her nonsense. I don't know whether to laugh or cry. Is my sect surrounded by two of you sisters? It sounds like something is not right. Also, you keep calling me out instead of breaking through this golden shield. It's unexpected. Is it because inside is the treasure house of the Yuling sect? Are you still waiting to harvest the loot after killing someone? Are you sure this is your first time to destroy a sect? Why do you always feel that, you are familiar with it, as if you have done it many times? Suddenly, everyone thought about that unreliable big pig hoof again. It seemed that he taught the sisters all this. That guy, how many times has he done this kind of thing before? Of course, in addition to these emotions. After listening to Joshii's words, the people of China had a deeper emotion that was suppressed in their hearts. The master of the Yuling sect, Jiro Hashimoto. It turned out that he was the real culprit behind the Nanjing massacre. This person must die. At first, I didn't quite understand why sisters Joshii and Joshiu desperately wanted to kill the Chinese audience at Yulingman. At this moment, I finally understood. I understand. The previous sisters Kuraba Junko and Kuraba Mako coveted Chinese treasures, kidnapped Deliriba and so on. They were all just excuses. What they wanted was to be famous as teachers. For the Nanjing massacre, several people, 100,000 wronged souls, seek an explanation. A story of cause and effect. All right. You two little babies, since you want to see the master of the sect so much. That sect master is just as you wish. Finally, a rather deep voice came from the Yuling shrine, the highest peak of Yulingmen. Then, an old man with gray hair and rosy complexion, who looked about 50 years old. With 9 different colors, different elders of the Yuling sect walked out from the golden barrier. The moment they saw the old man, a large number of black question mark faces floated across the barrage. Many people could not believe that this was the Yuling section, the owner of the door, Hashimoto Jiro. It's not that people judge people by their appearance. But the image of this guy is really unacceptable. According to visual inspection, Hashimoto Jiro is only about 1.6 meters tall. His body is slightly fat. His belly is bulging. He looks pretty good. I just don't know why. His body shape, posture, including appearance, all reveal obscenity. Especially those triangular eyes, which seem to be guilty of committing crimes, from time to time. We'll look left and right. Are you Jiro Hashimoto? Sure enough, it was exactly what my father said, a very ugly and wretched old man. After Joshi saw Jiro Hashimoto, she unceremoniously turned on the venomous tongue mode again. The audience in the live broadcast room was deeply convinced. She shouted Xiao 11, and she was indeed everyone's strongest mouth substitute. And the man in white on the side, the little sword fairy Joshio, has always maintained his own style. He is ruthless and doesn't talk much. After seeing Hashimoto Jiro, he reached out and took hold of the red sword in his hand. Buzz! Under the infusion of true energy, the long sword bloomed with streaks of crimson brilliance. It was like tongues of fire filling the air. The surrounding world. Even the white clouds in the sky were tinged with a bright red. Just like the morning glow, it's obvious. Joshi really paid attention this time. When I killed those few elders of Yuling sect before. She has never been so aggressive. Chi-chi. A crimson sword light bloomed between heaven and earth with Joshio as the center. The crimson sword energy was 200 to 300 meters long, trailing a long tail flame. Aim at the position of Jiro Hashimoto and strike. Rumble. Wherever the sword energy passes, space cracks grow and spread. Let everyone see the chaotic world revealed after the world is shattered. I don't know how many people in China stood up at this moment. He clenched his fists, held his breath, and stopped his heartbeat. Some people even bite their own tongue without realizing it. Is this the real swordsmanship of Joshio, the little swordsman in white? With one sword shot, the heaven and earth opened, and chaos appeared. No wonder she faced everyone before. They were all cold and dismissive gestures. It turned out that from beginning to end, she had never used her true power. That Hashimoto Jiro is finished. Many people already think so. After all, this sword looks really fierce and shocking. Even the heaven and earth can tear a hole. Who can stop it? Jiro Hashimoto. That's right. Jiro Hashimoto blocked it. And it was quite easy to block it. When the sword light soared into the sky and flew in front of him. In his hand, a bright silver spear appeared. Under the infusion of true energy. The bright silver spear, like a swimming dragon, blossomed into spear flowers in the sky. As the gunfire exploded, hundreds of meters of crimson sword energy was cut off inch by inch. Finally dissipated in mid-air. This scene left the audience in the live broadcast room stunned. Especially the people in China were all in disbelief. It's been a long journey. The two sisters Joshi and Joshio went so smoothly. Almost everyone kills people, and Buddhas kill Buddhas. From the beginning, everyone was skeptical about their strength. Later, I slowly started to believe it unconditionally. Especially Joshio. Everyone calls him the little sword fairy in white. This shows how much he recognizes her fighting prowess and swordsmanship. Coupled with the sword strike just now, it was so powerful that it tore through the void. Everyone really didn't expect that Hashimoto Miku would be able to crack it so easily. But after thinking about it, everyone suddenly reacted. It is true that I am blind. Joshio is only 5 years old. And the master of this Yuling sect is Hashimoto Miku. Although he looks like he is only in his 50s or 60s. But as a practitioner, his age is definitely far beyond this value, even several times more. The difference between these is really not too big. Moreover, he is the leader of Yuling sect. Among the 3 sects, 6 sects, and 12 sects of Sakurajima Kingdom, he is the leader of the 6 sects. In the entire Sakurajima Kingdom, I'm afraid they are all ranked high. If it was really so easy to be killed by a 6-year-old girl like Joshio, Sakurajima Kingdom must be too weak. And they said it more than once. Yulingman is equivalent to the Huashan sect and Imei sect in China. If Joshio could easily kill Hashimoto Jiro instantly, doesn't it mean that she can easily challenge the Huashan and Imei factions with swords? This is really a fantasy. The little girl's name is Joshio, right? Good name, good swordsmanship. At such a young age, he was able to comprehend the meaning of the sword to such an extent. I have lived for more than 300 years, and I have never seen such a genius. And your sister, Joshii, right? She is also a genius who makes me unable to see through her depths. Jiro Hashimoto spoke with a smile. Although his smile was very obscene, his words revealed a key piece of information. More than 300 years. In other words, she has lived for more than 300 years. Quite. It was more than 50 times that of Joshio, and more than 60 times that of Joshii. Thinking of this, everyone felt relieved about the result of the fight just now. Your father. I'm really lucky to have you two, daughters with such evil talents. However, since he has already investigated my information. Didn't I tell you? I have entered the innate realm decades ago. Acquired and congenital. A slight difference, a mile. What is running in your body is nothing more than the acquired wisdom. There is an insurmountable gap between Xian Zhenqi. Therefore, no matter how strong your sword intent is, how advanced your swordsmanship is, and how amazing your Kimandungia skills are, it will not help. You two are no match for me. Jiro Hashimoto was still talking with a smile. This time, the amount of information in his words was even greater. Nature. Nurture. This is really a fantasy novel brought into reality. No. It sounds better than many fantasy novels or even more exaggerated. After all, in many fantasy novels, there is not much difference between the so-called nurture and nature. But it can be heard in Jiro Hashimoto's words. The difference between nurture and nature is simply unnecessary. It's too big. It's no wonder Joshii struck such a fierce sword just now. Hashimoto Jiro could take it easily. It turns out that the true energy in the two people's bodies is not of the same level at all. It's better now. Live broadcast in room 057, the people of China became a little quiet because they were worried about sisters Joshii and Joshio. But the people of Sakurajima country, who had been cowardly for a long time, finally felt proud for once. They lifted their heads from their crotches. These two little girls. No matter how strong or arrogant he is, what can he do? He is just an acquired monk. Look at our Sakurajima kingdom, Hashimoto Jiro, the master of the Gorman Gate. That is the legendary innate monk. He was definitely disdainful if he did not take action before. So, I just used the big one to bully the small ones. Now I was forced to take action, and I had to take action. And as soon as I took action, I destroyed the spirit of that 6-year-old girl. The little sword fairy in white you talk about is nothing more than that. All right. In your Chinese terms, it means getting straight to the point. Let's stop hiding it. If my guess is good, your father should be right behind you. Just wait for me to sacrifice your life. Now, I'm out. Ask your father to show up too. I know that he is my real opponent. It has also been decided, the ending of my Yuling sect today. I also want to appreciate your father's grace. I want to see what kind of man he is that can raise such outstanding daughters like you too. Jiro Hashimoto said as he clenched the bright silver spear in his hand. He was ready to fight at any time. And when his words came out, everyone's hearts were raised in their throats again. Damn it, is that damn big pig's trotter finally showing up? It's coming, this moment is finally coming. I can't wait to see the true face of that big pig's hoof in Lushan. The hatred for taking away one's wife is irreconcilable. Although I know I can't beat him, I must turn his picture into a villain and prick his evil little kunkin with a needle every day. Upstairs, you are so vicious. He stabbed someone else's little kunkin, aren't you afraid that your goddess will be left a widow? Being a widow is not scary, but I'm afraid that the more you prick her with needles, the bigger and bigger the swelling will become, and your goddess won't be able to bear being called daddy. Haha. Shut up, you fools, shut up. The heart that I just packed up has been broken by you again. The audience in the live broadcast room was very excited. No matter if you are a fan of Yang Mi. Fans of Liu Yifei are also welcome. It's also good to be a fan of Dili Reba. I have been waiting for this day for a long time. They just wanted to see what kind of dog man he was. Being able to gain the favor of so many goddesses at the same time. He also asked 2 goddesses to give him a daughter. The most annoying thing is these 2 daughters. They are all incredibly beautiful and incredibly beautiful. A quirky and cute little elf. A little fairy with extraordinary temperament and full of aura. I really want to make all the men in the world go crazy with envy, jealousy, and hate. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Yang Mi, my daughter catches ghosts. Scared millions of viewers. Author, Tianyi Madman. Chapter 103. China, Kyoto. An unknown nursing home. A group of old men and women were all looking forward to it. Countless sects and clans also had their eyes widened. Including practitioners from various countries such as Rice Country, Sakurajima Country, Maoxiong Country, and Asin Country. At this moment, everyone's nerves were tense. That man assessed China's combat power. It is too important for the future direction of the entire world and the opening of the great mysterious sect. They all wanted to know how strong that man was for the first time. However, my dad. You think too much. He didn't come. You don't deserve him to take action either. Zhou Xiao said, reaching out and holding the scabbard of the red sword in her hand. Until this moment, everyone was surprised to discover a fact that made them dumbfounded. The long sword in Zhou Xiao's hand was still unsheathed. With that sword strike just now, the sky shattered and the earth shattered, the void shattered, and chaos emerged. People subconsciously thought that this should be Zhou Xiao's true strength. Nor Rive. Her sword, was still unsheathed. Suddenly, countless people were moved. Including the master of the Yuling sect, Hashimoto Jiro. The sword you just struck was not unsheathed? Interesting, really interesting. But it's of no use. Nature and nurture are as different as clouds and mud. After all, they are separated by an insurmountable gap. Let's not talk about your own strength, it has not yet reached the acquired peak. Even if it's your Dzogchen state the day after tomorrow. In front of my innate monk. Also vulnerable. Let your father come forward. Whether he is worthy or not, he knows very well. Hashimoto Jiro said coldly. He didn't believe that the man really didn't follow him. Just now, that little girl's sword was definitely the highest limit that an acquired monk can achieve. As long as it is true, chi is powerful enough. It doesn't matter if the sword is unsheathed or not. I said I didn't come, I just didn't come. As for whether my sword can bridge the gap between acquired nature and innate nature, just try and you will find out. Raise sword for 3 years. Today, the sword comes out. As Joshio's words fell, her 2 white and tender hands exerted slight force. For the first time, a gap appeared between the red longsword and the scabbard. Buzz. It's just this gap. The long sound of swords resounded throughout the world. The originally clear sky was filled with strong winds and lightning and thunder. It's like there is some unparalleled evil, as if to destroy this world. Clang. The scabbard of the sword came off, and the red sword light first appeared. Everything in this world seemed to dim. Only that red sword light is the only color in this world. Hold head high. The sound of dragon roar reappears. Between heaven and earth, all kinds of energy are surging crazily. Gathered into Joshio's hands. The crimson sword light turned into a lifelike giant dragon that was 400 to 500 meters long. Baring his teeth and claws, he bombarded Hashimoto Jiro's position. This. What's this? Impossible, how could an acquired monk cut out such a sword light? Jiro Hashimoto, who had always had a sneer on his face and some disdain in his eyes. Suddenly, his expression changed drastically. He was just standing aside, quietly watching the performance of Joshio, a 6-year-old child. What can he do if she is too confident? The gap between acquired and innate cannot be bridged by just saying a few words. Even in ancient times, acquired and innate are the biggest thresholds for practitioners. He does not think that this little girl can really break through this shackles. So let her play with it. When she accumulates strength, she can easily counterattack. The mysterious father behind her will naturally show up when he sees his daughter in danger. But when Joshio made this sword, after he really came out, Hashimoto Jiro was shocked and felt his scalp numb. Because he felt a crisis. An unprecedented crisis. This kind of experience has not happened for countless years. Only when facing those. He would only feel this sense of oppression when he was an innate boss. But today, a little girl of only 6 years old actually made him relieve this feeling. How could he not be shocked? There was no time to think too much. The innate energy in Jiro Hashimoto's body started to work like crazy. Buzz buzz. The bright silver spear in his hand was infused with innate energy, vibrating at an ultra-fast frequency. Instantly, a spear light was fired that was also 400 to 500 meters long. But I don't know why, the feeling of life being threatened still hasn't dissipated. Not enough? This is asking me to use all my strength to deal with a 6-year-old girl. Hashimoto Jiro felt that his mentality was about to explode. But how can I care about that anymore? With a thought, the spirit bag in front of him opened automatically. The sound of ghosts crying and wolves howling suddenly filled the air. The area he was in instantly turned into a ghostly hell filled with ghostly fog. Thick and dense, millions of ghosts are all lingering around Hashimoto Jiro. These are all the yin spirits he has collected and controlled over the past 300 years. Among them were hundreds of thousands of unyielding remnant souls from Huaxi and Nanjing City. Only his yin spirit is different from that of other Yulingmen monks. The yin spirits sacrificed by others are all gray and black and are called resentful spirits. But these yin spirits of his were green as if they were poisoned. It was controlled, refined, and even cursed using secret techniques. It was called a cursed spirit. The combat power of one cursed spirit is equivalent to 10 resentful spirits. One can imagine the fighting power of his millions of cursed spirits. Jiro Hashimoto, who was in it, was like the 10th hall of hell in hell, gathering the energy of millions of cursed spirits into his body with a wave of his hand. Buzz buzz. The bright silver spear in his hand trembled faster. The spear light that bloomed reached a distance of nearly a kilometer. The momentum is so strong that there is nothing. It even faintly suppressed the crimson dragon formed by Joshio's sword light. It's a long story, but actually everything happens in an instant. Mid-air. The 5 to 600 meter long crimson dragon collided with the nearly kilometer-long silver spear light. Rumble. The explosion that resounded throughout the world hit everyone's eardrums. The crimson sword energy and the bright silver gun light. A wave of air bursting out in mid-air. Even worse than an atomic bomb explosion. Even temporary photographer Joshi had a premonition of this scene. 24 golden lotuses surged out under the feet. Her whole body and the camera were wrapped up in advance. The viewers who watched the live broadcast were still shocked, feeling dizzy and torn apart. Not physically, but in the soul. Many people were even shocked to death across the screen. But the battle is not over yet. After the surge of air that overturned the world, the bright silver gun light slowly dissipated, and a huge red dragon emerged. But he still stands proudly. It's just that the size has changed from 5 to 600 meters to 3 to 400 meters. Continue to attack Hashimoto Jiro's position. No. How can it be? What kind of swordsmanship is this? Why is it more powerful, more solid, and more fierce than my innate talent? Hashimoto Jiro panicked. This time he was completely panicked. The shot just now used up all his strength. In a short period of time, less than 10% of the innate innocence in the body can be mobilized. It is absolutely impossible to stop this crimson dragon. Under the crisis, he can't care about any issues of shame. Use up all the innate innocence in the body chi. He wanted to escape from the attack range of this crimson giant dragon. Unfortunately, it was of no use. There was no obstacle of the bright silver gun light. The crimson giant dragon couldn't be too fast. In the blink of an eye, he was in front of me. Boom. It was like being hit by a giant hammer weighing tens of thousands of tons. Even if he protected all the innate energy in his body in front of him, he still clearly felt that his body was dented. All the internal organs were stirred to pieces. Bang bang bang. Several more explosion sounds came. It's the elders of the Yuling sect around him. Those who do not have the innate talent are not as lucky as Jiro Hashimoto. Under the bombardment of the red dragon, their bodies exploded in mid-air and turned into a ball of blood mist and powder. Not even the ghost left behind, it simply disappeared into the world. Finished. Yulingman is completely finished this time. Hashimoto Jiro was heartbroken. He even regretted it. Why did he provoke China back then? But China back then was clearly in decline. Who would have thought that today, it would bring about the destruction of his family? The disaster. And the ones who destroyed the family were two little girls of 5 or 6 years old. Especially the little girl who used the sword, Joshio. Hashimoto Jiro still can't figure it out. He is an innate person who has transcended the origin of human beings. Strong. And the opponent, no matter how talented he is just a 6-year-old baby, a monk the day after tomorrow. With all his strength, he actually lost. And it was a complete defeat, the kind of loss where life was cut off. Kill the day after tomorrow. Innate. Is this reasonable? It's really unreasonable to step on the horse. With full of doubts, anger, and unwillingness. Hashimoto Jiro clearly felt that his vitality was rapidly draining. The 3 souls and 7 souls were slowly out of his body. Suddenly, a huge golden palm appeared out of thin air and held him in his hand. It was that 5-year-old little girl, Joshi. Haha, this is an innate monk. It is easier and faster for Yinhun to practice. Can definitely become the first batch of fierce ghosts. Help me move the bricks and drive the screws. The little girl said leisurely. At the same time, she was very satisfied and threw his ghost into the spirit bag. Hashimoto Jiro felt that his ghost body was about to explode on the spot. What? Ghost? Moving bricks and screws? I am the master of the Yuling sect, a dignified innate monk. Humiliation, so humiliating. But Hashimoto Jiro is allowed to resent him, but he is unable to resist. He can only watch. With that, his yin spirit body was sent into the soul control bag. This was a must-have for their soul control sect, specializing in collecting all kinds of yin souls. As the sect leader, he had never thought that one day he would will also be sent in. Holy shit. Awesome, Sister October, you are my eternal god. The guy just now was so talented both innately and acquired. It scared me. I thought he was so strong. But that's it? Judging from the momentum just now, he is indeed quite strong. It's a pity that I met Sister October, this little sword fairy in white. Can I say that when that dragon came out just now, I peed again? I didn't pee because I was frightened, but I peed my pants unconsciously, woo. Me too. While peeing, he knelt down. Sister October's sword was really terrifying. I have been raising the sword for 3 years, and today, the sword comes out? Woohoo, when Sister October said this, I knew that this sword was not simple. I thought that damn big pig trotter was really going to take action. That kid from Sakurajima country was so good that he didn't force him out, so he let Sister October deal with it. How long has it been? Xiao 11 still hasn't forgotten to catch ghosts, move bricks, and screws. Haha, it made me laugh so hard. Who dares to imagine, a large sect comparable to Mount Ime in Huashan was completely wiped out by these two 5 or 6-year-old sisters. In the live broadcast room, more than 90 million people were online at the same time. Everyone was shocked beyond measure. Cheering comments and barrages floated out as if they were free of charge. But compared to them, there are many people who are more shocked and more frightened. Sakurajima Country, Donkyo, Chiyoda District, secret meeting room. Idiot. Why is this happening? The old emperor of Sakurajima Kingdom, who had just finished an emergency online meeting with practitioners from more than a dozen countries including the Rice country, was so angry that he overturned the table in front of him. It's not that he had never thought about the Yulingman society. Destroyed. But he never thought that Yulingman would be destroyed in this way. Just not long ago, in their online meeting, representatives of practitioners from various countries had the same idea as Hashimoto Jiro. Everyone thinks that the 2 little girls must follow their father to protect them. Even if Hashimoto Jiro dies and the Yulingman is destroyed, everyone can at least roughly see the man's cultivation and combat power. Thus, the plan to encircle and suppress China and nip the danger in the cradle was formulated and perfected in more detail. But who would have thought? That man did not appear. Jiro Hashimoto, who was in the innate realm, was killed by a 6-year-old girl was killed with one sword. This is definitely not good news for them. The most important thing is, as the more powerful innate experts, they can't even understand what Joshio just said. What is going on with the sword? The gap between acquired and innate cannot be overstepped. This is something that is well known to all practitioners in the entire cultivation world. No one has ever thought of breaking it. No one has really tried to break it. But just today, all of this was abruptly broken by that 6-year-old girl. It was completely broken. Suddenly, many practitioners from all over the world were paying attention to this matter. In their hearts, a very bad thought flashed through them all. China. The orthodox origin of practitioners. An ancient country with a relatively complete inheritance so far. Is there still hidden secrets that are unknown? I thought of this possibility. I don't know. There are cultivators from so many countries. Their minds are more active and their eyes are colder. The monks from the 8 countries at that time took action at the same time and carried out a great purge of China. It seems that it was not thorough enough. Perhaps, it is necessary to do it again. No, let's talk about other things. Just these two little girls, the top quality spiritual stones, the 10,000-year fire, and the secret of acquiring the innate beheading are enough to make monks from all over the world covet them and feel itchy. But, everyone is now, he just dares to covet him. That mysterious man has still not shown up. The stronger his two daughters show, the greater the potential threat of that man. Without testing out the true nature of that man, no one dares to act rashly before the battle strength is reached. But everyone has a hunch that things will turn around soon. That man will also surface soon. Woolen cloth. Yang Mi, my daughter catches ghosts. Scared millions of viewers. Author, Tianyi Madman. Chapter 104. China, Kyoto, an unknown nursing home for the elderly, indoor activity center. Died. That bastard Jiro Hashimoto, just died like that. I still can't believe it. How many of us have been able to achieve something that a 6-year-old girl has not been able to do? Yes. Over the years, we have thought of various ways to destroy this beast, but he has been hiding in Sakurajima Kingdom and dare not come out. The good news is, Hashimoto Jiro, the old dog, died, and the Yulingman, a place where filth and evil were hidden, was directly wiped out. The bad news is, the father of these two little girls, that mysterious man, has still not shown up, and we still know nothing about him. Actually, this is not necessarily bad news. The performance of the two little girls now is so eye-catching. It must have attracted the attention of many practitioners abroad. If that man appeared in the camera, not only would we understand it, but they would also understand it. This is true. According to the latest news we got, countries such as the Rice country and the Asin country have held emergency meetings. I'm afraid it's because of this. I just deduced that the man should return and show up soon. It's just that his fate is so tough. In order to deduce this, I was forced to vomit several mouthfuls of blood, and even lost 3 years of my life. Old Lyotu, you are confused. How dare you deduce him? Curious, curious. I thought that for such a simple problem, a few months of life would be enough, but I didn't expect him to be so cruel. After seeing Jiro Hashimoto being killed by Joshio with one sword, the old men and ladies here were not as excited and irritable as before. It's just that, some people have covered their faces and cried, unable to control themselves. Some people have already covered their faces and cried. She shed tears all over again, while showing a long-lost smile. The tragic death of hundreds of thousands of innocent souls in Nanjing is an extremely tragic memory for every Chinese citizen. For people like them, it is even more deeply rooted in the bone marrow. Hatred. Especially several of the old men. They witnessed with their own eyes the tragic situation after Nanjing city was blood-bathed. But they failed to kill the mastermind behind the scenes, Hashimoto Jiro. It was their lifelong nightmare. Every time they woke up in the middle of the night, they felt as if they could hearing those heart-rending wails and cries. Today, this nightmare was brought to a successful end by Joshio, who was only 6 years old. How could they not be excited? Unmoved. Everyone. You are all innate monks. After living for so many years, I have seen a lot. Does anyone know the origin of the little girl's swordsmanship just now? How on earth did she do it, fight against the innate in the realm of the future? Sitting at the top, the gray-haired old man surnamed Kong was in tears with excitement just now. After calming down, he asked the doubts in his heart. Everyone shook their heads in unison. There was only one sword cultivator. Old man, thoughtful. Kong Lao. I just heard the little girl say, I have been raising a sword for 3 years. She is probably practicing the ancient lost secret book of swordsmanship, the art of raising swordsmanship. Hide the edge of the long sword in the scabbard, and use your own true energy to continuously warm and temper it for months or even years. Thus the man and the sword become one. This sword will not be unsheathed easily. Once it is unsheathed, it will reveal its sharp edge and cut through all the mess. After the sword attack, it will take at least 3 days for her to. Only then can the sword be warmed and tempered again to its sharpest state. After hearing the old man's analysis, everyone suddenly realized. But the old man named Kong shook his head. I have also seen the introduction of this sword cultivating technique in an ancient classic. It is indeed a very powerful secret book of swordsmanship. But this alone is not enough to give the acquired realm the ability to shake the innate realm. Let alone kill him with one sword. For a moment, everyone frowned slightly. As the top people in China, they can't even understand a 6-year-old girl. It's really embarrassing. And at this moment, that young man, the female assistant, hurried in from outside. Kong Lao. News just came from the Tianshan sword sect. It is said that the little girl's sword strike just now seems to have inspired the legendary sword power. If possible, their Tianshan faction. I want to have contact with this little girl. The words of the female assistant made the entire internal activity center lively again. What? Sword power? The legend says that there is something more profound than the sword's will. The sword's intention can still be avoided, but the sword is unstoppable. How is it possible? This is a 6-year-old girl. It's not a matter of age. It's something like sword power. Ever since the opening of the great mysterious sect in pre-Qin dynasty, no one has been able to understand it. That's right. I also remembered, it was the sword power. The huge red dragon just now was transformed by the power of the sword. Oh my God, is this little girl really a reborn sword fairy? How on earth did she practice? Needless to say, the little girl's talent is profound. Her mysterious father is the key to all this. That's right. Whether it is Zhou Xi or Zhou Xiao, they have too many secrets. It's beyond our imagination at every turn. It must be all because of that man. No. I really want to become a disciple, Isai. When will that man come out? Didn't old Lu Tiou use his 3-year lifespan to deduce it just now? He should show up soon. Yes. I'm looking forward to it, but I have a premonition. The day he appears, I'm afraid that's when the great mysterious sect opens. Ah! Is Duxuanmen going to open so soon? This world is going to change. Excited crowds are everywhere. Tianqi Mansion, Shaolin Temple, Quanzhen Sect, Wuodang Sect, etc. All the major sects and clans in China were affected by the destruction of the Yuling sect and the death of Jiro Hashimoto. And cheered. Especially the Huashan sect and Imei sect. Is the happiest. Let you, the Yuling sect, compare it with us if you have any problem. We almost became the unit of measurement in the spiritual practice world. It's okay now. The Yuling sect is gone, but at the scene. Zhou Xi was also very excited. At this time she was carrying a camera. On the highest mountain in Yulingmen, he harvested his loot like crazy. The previous golden barrier was easily broken by her holding Jiro Hashimoto's sect master's token. Wow! What Dad said is indeed right. There really is a treasure house hidden here. Etc. This treasure house is too shabby. No matter how it looks, there is nothing. It's not even as big as Dad's warehouse. There are a lot of things in the garbage dump next to it. Forget it. Dad said that the spoils of war all depend on luck. Many sects may look decent, but in fact they may be beautiful on the outside but corrupted by the inside. This Yulingman is probably a typical example of this. No matter how small the fly legs are, they are still meat, so I will reluctantly keep them first. Zhou Xi said as she threw all the items in Yulingman's treasure house into his little cloth pocket. Everyone in the live broadcast room was dumbfounded. This little 11 was too funny. He got the loot for nothing, and still like this. The look of disgust. The key point is that you are so disgusted with your mouth, but you are very honest under your hands, you didn't stop at all. And from Zhou Shiai's words, everyone inevitably started to slander her again. What is her unreliable father? What does it do? Why do you seem to be so skilled at killing people, harvesting trophies, and so on? Even Xiao 11 has learned it. Also, Xiao 11 said that the garbage pile next to his warehouse is better than the treasure house in Yulingmen. A lot of stuff. Is it true, or is it an exaggeration? If it's the former, how many good things are there in that guy's warehouse? Not long after, on top of the crane flying between the white clouds, Zhou Xiao, the little sword fairy in white clothes, stood with his sword behind his back, his face cold, as if he was not involved in the fireworks of the world. Temporary photographer Zhou Xiai was chattering while communicating with the ghosts in the spirit bag. Let them practice hard and become powerful ghosts as soon as possible. Then go move the bricks and screw in the screws. Of course, except Jiro Hashimoto. Because Zhou Xiao just told her that it was mentioned in the paper crane her father gave her. If the Yuling gate is destroyed, Hashimoto Jiro's soul will be gone. If the yin spirit is left behind, after he returns, it will be left to him to deal with. After listening to Sister October's words, Zhou Xiai felt a little regretful that she lacked a fierce ghost to help her make money to buy dolls. But I don't have much opinion. For her dearest daddy, she doesn't say she is obedient, and she doesn't dare to disobey easily. As quickly as it goes, so quickly comes. Not long after, the two arrived again at the hotel where Yang Mi and Diliriba were resting. It was after 7 in the morning when they secretly went out. It was just after 8 o'clock at this time. In other words, it only took the two of them less than an hour. I went to Sakurajima country for a walk. He also wiped out Yulingmen, which was comparable to Huashan Mountain Kongtong. Oh my god. Two little ancestors, are you back? It almost scared me to death. As soon as I entered the hotel lobby, Chief Director Wang Zhenjiao and a group of staff gathered around him. Although he didn't pee his pants today. But Wang Zhenjiao was really scared. Broken, he was even more frightened than yesterday. Early in the morning, he was suddenly woken up. It was said that two sisters, Zhou Xiai and Zhou Xiao, had gone to Sakurajima country. At that time, he thought the staff was joking. And then I found out that all of this was true. At that time, it was like a bolt from the blue, hitting me hard on the head. Wang Zhenjiao couldn't be too dizzy. These are the two precious daughters of Yang Mi and Lu Yifei. What if something happens? The problem? I definitely can't afford it. There's no need to think about being in the entertainment industry. The most important thing is not these two national goddesses. It's the mysterious father of these two little ancestors. Although Wang Zhenjiao, an ordinary person, doesn't know much about things in the spiritual world, he is not stupid. The power of that mysterious man is now well known to everyone. If something really happened to his two daughters, he would blame him. Even if I have 10 lives, I'm afraid it won't be enough to compensate me. Just now, when Zhou Xiao and Hashimoto Jiro were fighting, I heard the man talking about nature and nurture, looking like a master from this world. Wang Zhenjiao was in front of the live broadcast monitoring station, they almost broke their back molars. Fortunately, everything was safe. These two little ancestors destroyed the Yulingmen, and returned safely. We are not afraid, so what are you afraid of? The meaning of my mother and Reba hasn't come out yet. Zhou Xiai and Zhou Xiao were shocked by the enthusiasm of Wang Zhenjiao and others. But she was more concerned about her mother and Aunt Diliriba. Not yet. We dare not call them. After all, you are in Sakurajima country, and there is really too much noise. I'm afraid they won't be able to bear it even more watching the live broadcast. Wang Genjio scratched his head and responded. This was the only place where he breathed a sigh of relief. Yang Mi and Diliriba have not woken up until now. Otherwise, he is really worried that the two goddesses will come directly to him. Work hard. Hum hum. Sister October, my method will work. If we don't call them, I'm afraid they won't wake up this day. Joshi smiled and asked Joshio for credit. In the live broadcast room, a large number of black faces with question marks appeared. The battle just now was extremely dangerous every second. They had also forgotten about Yang Mi and Diliriba. Now that I heard Joshi's words, I suddenly reacted. That's right. These two little ancestors were about to turn Sakurajima Kingdom into chaos. Yang Mi and Diliriba didn't even react at all. Even still haven't gotten up yet? Combined with the key words in Joshi's words just now, everyone felt that something was wrong. I'm afraid there's something going on here. These two little guys did something to Yang Mi and Diliriba. What? The answer. It was soon revealed. A huge group of people came to the door of Yang Mi's hotel room. Joshi took out a room card from the small cloth pocket in front of her. She opened it easily. Door. In an instant, everyone in the live broadcast room became excited. No way. No way. We would not be lucky enough to see the sleeping posture of the goddess Mimi from the first perspective. In addition, there is nothing wrong with her sleeping bad habits. Or like not wearing clothes. If you see something, what should you see? Should we close our eyes? Wang Zhenjiao also thought about this problem. He opened his mouth to stop Joshi, but it was too late at night. As soon as the door opened, she walked in with light steps. In an instant, countless people's hearts were raised in their throats. Especially many men, almost had a heart attack due to excitement. But soon, they realized that they had thought too much. In the room, the goddess Damami was completely dressed. No, it wasn't just Damami, even Diliriba was in this room. She was also very well dressed. But the state of the two people at this time is different from what everyone imagined. The two of them were sitting cross-legged on the big bed in the hotel, with their hearts in the sky. Each of them held a piece of the crystal-clear rhombus-shaped lens. It was the top-quality spiritual stone that Joshi had used to set up formations before. As Yang Mi and Diliriba meditated and adjusted their breath, streams of spiritual energy slowly flowed into it from the top-quality spiritual stone. Cultivation. People reacted immediately. They thought about thousands of possibilities. They never expected, Yang Mi and Diliriba actually started to practice. Could it be that that is, Joshi's plan? Let them devote themselves wholeheartedly to their cultivation. Without any distractions. Naturally, they didn't know that the two little guys had sneaked out. They were still in Sakurajima country, causing a huge commotion. Suddenly, the online viewers in the live broadcast room were agitated, crazy, and even a little dazed. When they discovered that there were ghosts in the world and Joshi was a practitioner, many people already had a desire in their hearts. Will they be able to practice? Become a legendary practitioner. Go to heaven and earth, fly with a sword. However, they can only think about this desire. Who knows what conditions are needed for practice? Now, seeing that Yang Mi and Diliriba were able to practice, I don't know how many people were completely overwhelmed. Yang Mi, my daughter catches ghosts. Scared millions of viewers. Author, Tianyi Madman. Chapter 105. Ah, Goddess Damami and Reba are actually practicing. No wonder Sister October and Xiao 11 were so upset in Sakurajima country, they didn't even react. Can everyone practice cultivation? I have an immature idea, ahem, I also want to practice. My urine is yellow, let me wake him up. Are you thinking about shit? Who doesn't want to practice cultivation? The key is how to cultivate. It's impossible to become a disciple of that damned pig's hoof. Here is Xiao Shii, please bow to me as a disciple. You are really shameless upstairs. Sister October, please accept this humble little disciple of mine. I don't have any other abilities, we just obey. You ask me to go east, but I will never go west. If you ask me to kill a cow, I will never kill Kun. You little black guy upstairs, if you think our brother Kunkin has laid eggs, don't eat them. What a mess. Can you be more sincere? I really want to practice. I almost feel envious, jealous, and hate me to death. Who is not? But what's the use? Let's not say that you don't have any skills. Have you seen the top quality spiritual stones in the hands of Goddess Damamai and Reba? Your hair is not even good. At this time, the number of online viewers in the live broadcast room once again hit a new high. Directly exceeded 100 million people online. The scenes of Dilruba and Yang Mi practicing had a huge impact on these people. Everyone was crying and wanting to become a disciple. It wouldn't work if I didn't kneel across the screen. I don't know how many people knelt down immediately. In the hotel room, Yang Mi and Dilruba were sitting side by side on the big bed, still practicing Qi. He did not sense the arrival of Zhou Shii, Zhou Xiao, Wang Zhenjiao and other staff members. In the end, it was Zhou Shii who cleared her throat deliberately. Yang Mi and Dilruba slowly completed a week and stopped practicing. The long eyelashes fluttered. Dilruba was the first to open her beautiful eyes. I found that there were so many people around me, all staring at me. It looked like he had seen a ghost. Each one's eyes are wider than the other. Dilruba was startled and quickly wanted to stand up. Only stand, she didn't stand up. With a little exertion, the whole person actually flew up from the bed. Go straight towards the ceiling. Ah, Mom. Watching yourself, you are getting closer and closer to the ceiling. At the same time, Dilruba screamed. Subconsciously, he stretched out a hand to block the front to prevent his whole head from hitting him. Boom. There was a loud noise. Dilruba was dumbfounded. Everyone around was dumbfounded. The audience in the live broadcast room was dumbfounded. And Yang Mi, who just opened her eyes, was also stunned. Dilruba's white, delicate, boneless little hand. At this moment, she slapped her directly into the ceiling. Wrong. Not just the ceiling. As Dilruba's body fell onto the bed. Where she just slapped her, there was a palm-shaped hole, and you could faintly see the crystal chandelier in the room above. Ah, who? What happened? It can't be my husband here. No. Why is the floor still broken? The voices of a man and a woman came from upstairs. Then a pair of eyes full of confusion were poked out of the hole. That's right. Dilruba's palm just penetrated the ceiling. And it also disturbed a pair of sneaky wild mandarin ducks upstairs. Ah. Sorry. Sorry. No, how did I do this? God, I have not really started practicing cultivation, right? Dilruba is in a state of disarray at this moment. Her words are a bit out of place. And the audience in the live broadcast room. They are fired up again. Although they have known for a long time, Dilruba and Yang Mi were practicing. But they never expected that the results of practice would be so obvious. Yesterday, Dilruba was still an ordinary little girl. Not to mention that she had no power to bind a chicken. But it's not much better. Only a night has passed. Just pat it casually and penetrate the ceiling? It really shouldn't be too scary. Reba. What did you do? Ah. Yang Mi, who had just woken up, wanted to get up after being startled by Reba. Then she also reproduced it perfectly. Dilruba's series of actions just now. Without using much force at all, the whole person flew directly up. Subconsciously, he naturally stretched out his hand to block the situation. However, Yang Mi and Diliriba are different. She stretched out her hands. Boom! A familiar sound came. On the ceiling, there were two more slender and delicate palm prints. There was also the sound of a man being knocked out and hitting the ground. There was nothing I could do, the guy was lying on the ground looking down. Before he could figure out the situation, he flew away. This dramatic picture. The audience in the live broadcast room couldn't help but laugh, and at the same time they were filled with envy, jealousy, and hatred. The life of ordinary people, we can't live it at all. We also want to meditate, and we also want to cultivate immortality. We also want to slap him through the ceiling. I don't know how many people started posting in the barrage area again, or even on the official WeChat account of the program team. Crazy message expressed. I want to become a disciple. It doesn't matter if you worship Sister Xiaoi or Sister October. It really doesn't work. We are also willing to worship Goddess Damamai or Goddess Reba. As for the more powerful mysterious man, forget it, we don't seem worthy. It's different from what ordinary people see. The scene of Dilruba and Yang Mi piercing the ceiling with just a few slaps, is even more shocking to practitioners. To know. Diliriba and Yang Mi only practiced for one night at most. Ordinary practitioners, after practicing overnight, may not even be able to sense the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Not to mention condensing true energy in the body. No matter how powerful or advanced the master is, there is nothing he can do about it. We can only let the disciples slowly realize and understand. 1 month. I can sense the aura of heaven and earth. It's already very impressive. Within 3 months, if you can condense a trace of Ho Tiankai in your body, it can be called a genius. But what about Diliriba and Yang Mi? There is no guidance from famous teachers. Just Zhou Shii and Zhou Shiu, 2 little girls of 5 or 6 years old, just taught them casually. But he was able to condense his true energy in just 1 night. And judging from the strength just now, they are not just starting out with a trace of Genkai. But it's already the stage of entering the house. Ordinary practitioners. If they want to reach this stage, it may take 2 or 3 years. But Yang Mi and Diliriba only spent 1 night? Are they extremely intelligent, talented, and extremely talented? Probably not. At least not entirely. The fundamental reason why their cultivation progressed so smoothly and so quickly. It's the top quality spiritual stone they hold in their hands. It has long been recorded in classical books. If you can practice with the best spiritual stones, there will be almost no bottleneck. There is no such thing as not being able to sense the aura of heaven and earth. Just kidding. The richest spiritual energy of heaven and earth is held in your hands. Even a pig can sense it. That's why. I don't know how many practitioners there are. Looking at Yang Mi and Diliriba, who were putting away the top quality spiritual stones, their eyes were as hot as they could be. I know this thing is a treasure. But after seeing with my own eyes the effectiveness of this treasure, it's really unbearable. In the country of America, Las Vegas, in a hidden cathedral. Incredible, really incredible, from ordinary people to practitioners, the speed of change is too fast. Although the ancient Chinese classics have recorded all kinds of miraculous properties of the best spiritual stones, this is too scary. If we all use the best spiritual stones to practice, how powerful will we be if we live hundreds of years? I'm afraid, he has already become a god. No. We must test out China's current strength as soon as possible, especially that man's strength. If you ask me, just rush in and that's it. Last time, under the joint attack of our countries, China, which is known as a great power and practices orthodoxy, was easily manipulated. They definitely won't be able to handle it this time. That's right, even if that man was stronger, he wouldn't be able to change the situation of the battle. Isn't there a Chinese saying that says, two fists are hard to beat with four hands? The best spiritual stone. Everyone, that man must have many, many top quality spiritual stones in his hands. By then we may be able to go further. If that doesn't work, let Asen and Sakurajima, plus Bangzi and the others, test it out first. Just take a look at the situation. This is a good idea. Sakurajima Kingdom and China have a deep hatred. Asen Kingdom has always wanted to compete with China. Bangzi Kingdom, a guy who likes to follow the trend and plagiarism, will definitely not let it go. He can get the best spiritual stone. Chance. Okay, deal. I will contact the leaders of practitioners from these three countries. In the hotel room. Look at the three big holes with palm prints on the ceiling. Yang Mi and Diliriba looked at each other. Everyone can't believe it. Is this really what I accidentally slapped? It's really like a dream. Baby, little October, is the effect of cultivation so obvious? I've only practiced for one night and can I punch through concrete? Yang Mi looked at sisters Zhou Xi and Zhou Xiu and asked. After all, they are the experts in this area. Aunt Mimi. The reason why you practice so quickly? There are many reasons. For example, this top quality spiritual stone can originally allow people to practice without any shackles. Of course, the most important thing. Although Dad has not taught you how to practice cultivation for so many years. But I have been quietly helping you lay the foundation and transform your body. The meridians, Danshan, and even the Zifu soul C in your body have long been adjusted to the most suitable state by your father. Therefore, when you practice, you will get twice the result with half the effort and the effect will be remarkable. Zhou Xiu replied seriously. Ah! Help us lay the foundation and transform our bodies. No wonder our skin is getting better and better after being with him. But how did he help us transform it? Why don't I feel anything? Dilruba asked thoughtfully at the side. I do not know then. But when Dad helps you transform your body, you should be able to feel a warm current surging through your body. That's my father's true nature. The person speaking this time was Zhou Xi. There is nothing wrong with what she said. Yang Mi and Diliriba didn't feel anything good at first. Just after recalling it carefully, Yang Mi and Diliriba looked at each other, then their faces turned red. They seemed to have reacted. When was he transformed? This shameless stinky man, really knows how to play. No wonder we treat him and those messy things. Eat the marrow and know the taste, so fascinating. In the live broadcast room, everyone seemed to understand something. Alas, ghosts are crying and wolves are howling. There are also all kinds of voices of envy, jealousy, and hatred. One after another, the screen is refreshed. Some things we do are purely for fun. You also lead people to practice and regulate their bodies, right? Really don't go too far, jealousy changes us beyond recognition. This stinky man, you are so good at pretending after all these years. No, let me see if he can get through on the phone. In order to ease the awkward atmosphere, Yang Mi took out her mobile phone and pressed the replay button. Sorry, the number you dialed is not in the service area. A familiar voice sounded. Yang Mi and Diliriba almost memorized it. In the past 2 days, no matter what happened, they would always call that stinky man's number, but they couldn't get through. I really don't know where that stinky man went. In other words, he had expected everything today. Hiding on purpose? After all, this shameless playboy. He provoked a lot of women back then. Etc. What news is this? Zhou Xi and Zhou Xiu broke into Sakurajima Kingdom and destroyed Yulingman. You. When did you two go to Sakurajima country? Yang Mi, who had just hung up the phone and was about to turn off her phone, caught a glimpse of a hot news pop-up. She suddenly felt bad and questioned Zhou Xi and Zhou Xiu. The two little girls lowered their heads and said nothing. Yang Mi didn't care to talk about them anymore. I directly opened the hot search. Diliriba on the side quickly put her head over after hearing what she just said. How strong is Yang Mi's daughter Joshi? The 36 Heavenly Gang Magic Dragon formation directly summons the Divine Dragon. After raising the sword for 3 years, today, the sword came out. Sister October, the little sword fairy in white, went crazy in Sakurajima Kingdom. Joshi and Joshiu did what they said and destroyed the entire Yuling sect. Just asking you if you are afraid. The mastermind behind the Nanjing massacre was finally killed today. Do you know these two little national heroes? How strong is Yang Mi's mysterious husband? 2 daughters aged 5 or 6 shocked the entire spiritual world. Check out the hot searches one by one. Yang Mi and Diliriba were both dumbfounded. Then, they directly started the live replay of the parent-child travel diary program. Until then, it dawned on them. No wonder, these two little guys mysteriously called them together yesterday night. They must be taught how to practice. It turns out that they were afraid that Yang Mi would stop them from planning to attack Sakurajima Kingdom. Look at the two little guys. He ran out quietly and cautiously. Yang Mi and Diliriba couldn't laugh or cry, looking at the two of them, when they challenged a sect in Sakurajima Kingdom. The two of them were frightened. Even though they had seen it with their own eyes, both of them were safe and sound and returned safely. Yang Mi and Diliriba still couldn't calm down, especially when the two black-clothed ninjas launched a sneak attack. Their hearts were in their throats. Diliriba accidentally broke off another piece of the bedside table. Wang Zhenjiao, who was on the side, wanted to cry but had no tears. I have to pay again. But anyway. The result was good. These two little guys destroyed the entire Yuling sect with a wave of their hands. Also bring the mastermind behind the Nanjing massacre to justice. He is even called a little national hero by the Chinese people. Even if Yang Mi was a little angry, she couldn't blame them anymore. I just told them not to be sneaky again in the future. The two little Lolitan naturally agreed wholeheartedly. What no one could have imagined is, a new incident is coming quietly down. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Yang Mi, my daughter catches ghosts. Scared millions of viewers. Author, Tianyi Madman. Chapter 106. The Mercedes business station wagon is back on the road again. Only this time, the atmosphere in the car was different from before. In the main driving seat was a professional driver. In the passenger seat, I was still sitting and following the PD photographer. Yang Mi and Diliriba are in the middle seat. Sit cross-legged with your 5 hearts facing the sky. There are 2 top-quality spiritual stones in his hands. Yes, they are practicing again. They are all addicted to practice. This kind of thing circulates in the body every day, which is quite comfortable. After punching a hole in the ceiling with an unintentional palm, the fighting spirit of the 2 people was ignited. Of course. If you break something, you still have to pay for it. As for the 2 wild mandarin ducks, the program team also had to go out to appease them. Fortunately, Yang Mi's attack just now was not heavy, and it was separated by thick ceilings and floors. The man who was beaten away was not seriously injured, he was just very frightened. Ah, so boring. Didn't it say that Aunt Bailu was coming? When will it arrive? At this time, the only one who was not very happy was Joshi. She pouted her little mouth and looked a little bored. Diliriba and Yang Mi occupied the 2 seats in the middle to practice. She was squeezed into the back seat, and even no one spoke, because after coming out of the hotel, Joshi also left temporarily. She wanted to go home first and teach her mother and grandma the cultivation method. But she also made an agreement with Joshi. In the afternoon, I will come to play with Joshi again, and maybe I can even bring my mother Lu Yifei with me. Forget it, I'll practice for a while too. Joshi, who was really bored, crossed her short legs. From her little cloth pocket, she poured out more than a dozen top-quality spiritual crystals. After holding 2 pieces in her hand, Joshi 5657 with the heart in the sky, energy, entering the weekly cycle mode. On the bus behind, the chief director Wang Zhenjiao and a group of staff were stunned. This is a live travel program. Although it is on the road. But the 3 MCS, 2 large and 1 small, all entered the training mode, and it always felt like something was weird. But when they saw the audience's reaction in the live broadcast room, they were relieved again. There was no protest at all. Even I still like it a little bit. Although I can't practice, I can see others practicing. It can be regarded as a kind of advanced learning and a kind of advanced understanding. Of course. The comments about wanting to become a disciple still account for half of the country. I still want to. They want Joshi or Joshio to teach cultivation online. They even want Joshi and Joshio to directly establish a section. Time passed bit by bit. Yang Mi, Diliriba, and Joshi focus on cultivating and nothing happens. The photographer had no choice but to take close-ups of their angry faces back and forth. This is just great. The audience in the live broadcast room couldn't help but be filled with emotion. These 2 beauties, 1 big and 1 small, are really the best in the world. Do Mimi is the kind of beauty that is full of charm and very direct. Dilruba is that kind of exotic and very special beauty. Joshi is the kind of person who is small and exquisite, extremely delicate, and so cute that she is so beautiful. I just sigh with emotion. Everyone suddenly discovered something was wrong. The best spiritual stone in Joshi's hand. Gone. You know, how long has she just been practicing? Yang Mi and Diliriba still had the same top-quality spiritual stones in their hands. After practicing for a day and night, I can easily penetrate the concrete ceiling. The top-quality spiritual stone was not consumed much. As for Joshi, it took less than 10 minutes. The 2 complete top-quality spiritual stones in his hands are now only the size of a glass ball. And just at this moment, the top-quality spiritual stone the size of a glass ball was also completely absorbed by Joshi. Picking up 2 more pieces, she continued to absorb them. Damn it! I finally understand why sisters Iao and October are so powerful at such a young age. This is cheating. With this speed of cultivation, no wonder he can defeat those old monsters that have lived for hundreds of years. Could it be that little 11 and sister October are both legendary natural spirits? Specially designed for cultivation? Probably. That big pig's trotters can condition the physiques of goddess Mimi and Reba to this level. The children born, will only be more suitable for cultivation. Is it possible? That big pig's hooves physique is also very awesome. I don't know if his physique is awesome or not, but his physical strength is really awesome. Have you forgotten the news that Xiao Shi made last time? First it was Damamai, then Reba, then Lu Tianxian. Ah! Shut up upstairs. I don't want to hear about this. Woo, who do you want to envy, and hate to death? I also want a man like this. Cultivation, please let everyone practice it. Not only can it improve the physical fitness and fighting power of the whole people, but it can also improve driving speed and happy life, making couples happier and more harmonious. Damn it, young lady upstairs, is this why you want to practice? Admire, admire. Because of the speed at which Joshi absorbed the best spiritual stones, the audience in the live broadcast room was amazed again and again. It's just that the brain circuits and divergent thinking of netizens are always caught off guard. As he talked, the style of painting gradually went off the rails. But, in the world of practitioners, the style of painting is not off track. Even very serious. Kyoto, an unknown elderly nursing home, indoor activity center. Is this really a natural spirit that only exists in legends? Outrageous, really outrageous. In ancient times, this natural spirit body was already a legend. Yes. Whether there was such a constitution in ancient times, there is no literature to verify. There are just some rumors. I have also read a few passages in some ancient books. It is said that with the proliferation of human beings, bloodlines are getting thinner and thinner. In ancient times, there were almost no natural abnormalities, let alone today. Then what's going on with this little girl's cultivation speed? A whole piece of top-quality spiritual stone was absorbed just like that. Even ordinary spirit stones are not absorbed so quickly by old guys like us. I feel this little girl is a natural spirit, there is absolutely no mistake. We were all very confused before, how could she have such cultivation at her age? If she was born as a spirit, this problem would be explained. I also think she is. If it were anyone else, I wouldn't believe it, but don't forget, her mysterious father can't be judged by common sense at all. Yes, blessings from saints, all kinds of lost ancient secret skills, with that man, it's as if they are free of charge. If there are really born spirits in this world, they can only be his two daughters. Within China, there are various major sects and clans. Looking at Zhou Xi, who was practicing as fast as a ghost, she was also shocked beyond measure. As for some young people, in addition to the shock, there is also a deep sense of frustration and powerlessness. How could this monster's speed be matched by ordinary people? He has to have a good physique, he has to have talents, he has to have the best spiritual stones. The most important thing is that there is also an extremely mysterious father who seems to be a super reclusive boss. We all want a father like this. As for foreign practitioners, looking at Hwaxia, the envy, jealousy, and hatred are even more obvious. It's also hotter. They all know very well. China is the orthodox origin of the path of spiritual practice. All along, in their eyes, China has been shrouded in a mysterious veil. Until more than 100 years ago, the monks from various countries united and launched a wave of purges and sweeps against China. He took away nearly 70% of China's natural treasures, secret laws and books. Only then did they become mentally balanced. Don't take China seriously anymore. Even waiting, after the opening of the Great Mysterious Gate this time, China will completely decline, and even turn into dust of strength. Who would have thought? On the eve of the opening of the Daxuanmen, a 5-year-old girl suddenly appeared in China, so that monks from all over the world were concerned about China. Even more unclear. In addition, the Yuling sect was destroyed. Let the various cultivator forces and organizations in various countries. Everyone felt a strong sense of crisis. No, it absolutely cannot be allowed, these two little girls. And the man behind them continues to grow stronger. Otherwise, I am afraid that I am the one who will be destroyed in the Daxuan sect this time. A few hours passed by in a flash. Near noon, the Mercedes business station wagon arrived at the foot of the Badaling Great Wall. Yang Mi and Diliriba in the car are still in a state of cultivation. If you compare the top quality spiritual stone in your hand with the previous one, you can clearly see that it is a bit smaller. As for Zhou Xi, you no longer need to care about what the top quality spiritual stone in your hand looks like. What needs to be noted is, the 20 or 30 spiritual stones she originally poured out had already been completely absorbed by her. We even restocked it once. One can imagine how exaggerated this cultivation speed is. People even speculate that, because of the child's character, Zhou Xi has not practiced seriously in these years. Otherwise, I'm afraid it will be stronger. Sister Mi, Sister Reba, we are here. The cameraman reminded softly. Zhou Xi was the first to wake up, put the top quality spiritual stones in front of her into her pocket, and waited excitedly to get off the car. The people in the live broadcast room were a little embarrassed. This little guy has some skills. She doesn't like practicing so much. If it wasn't so boring, I'm afraid she wouldn't have practiced on this journey. But, she is still so powerful at such a young age, who can she ask to reason with? Yang Mi and Dili Riba. At the end of the first week of operation after that, they took a long breath and slowly opened their beautiful eyes. But this time, they did not dare to act rashly. If they were not careful, they would break the car door or destroy the roof. It was a bit embarrassing to make a hole. I got used to it carefully. Stretched my muscles. 0. The two of them took Zhou Xi, opened the door and got out of the car. Then, the three people were shocked by the scene in front of them. It's not that the Great Wall was shocked, but people. Densely packed people. Side by side, huddled together. Looking around, I'm afraid it's probably at least tens of thousands, or even more. I saw Yang Mi, Dili Riba, and others getting out of the car. The crowd instantly became restless. Those who cheered, applauded, and jumped up and down wanting to look inside. At the same time, there were also big red banners one by one, which were lifted up from the crowd. Goddess Damamai, my heart is broken, but I am still your die-hard fan. Goddess Riba, you are still young. Don't be fooled by that big pig's hooves. Little 11. You will always be my God, please lead me to practice. I want to become a disciple, and Xiao Xi is asking for help. Damamai asks for help, Goddess Riba asks for help. Where is that man? Although I can't beat him, I still want to learn from him. Xiao Xi, start a sect quickly. We all want to join your sect. Sister October, that sword that kills the innate the day after tomorrow is so handsome. I want to practice swordsmanship with you. I want to be Sister October and Little 11's dog. It doesn't matter if you practice or not, I just want to be a dog. This is a huge and loud scene. Yang Mi and Dili Riba were stunned and felt a little confused. Even though I have been in the entertainment industry for so many years. She even has the title of National Goddess. But none of them have ever seen such an exciting and terrifying battle. But then I thought about it. They also gradually understood. Why are these people so crazy? For myself and others, even Zhou Xi's charm is not so exaggerated. The main thing is to be able to practice. For ordinary people, it has irresistible temptation and attraction. Stop talking about them. Even if it's just the two of them, when they just learn that there are ghosts in this world, and Zhou Xi can catch ghosts and practice cultivation. I feel like I'm eager to try it. After all, in the hearts and bones of the Chinese people, cultivation means it is possible to become an immortal. It is equal to the possibility of immortality, even immortality. I have always been hopeful about being able to practice. Otherwise, Chinese online novels, especially fantasy and fairy novels, will not be so popular anymore. Even abroad, it is highly regarded. Wow, there are so many people. There are actually people who want to be apprentices to Bao Bao. Even let the baby start a sect. It sounds like fun. But the baby is too young, so it would be fun to ask the father to open a sect or something. Zhou Xi didn't have much reaction to the roaring crowd, and was even a little excited. She muttered in her small mouth. Yang Mi and Dili Riba couldn't help but feel ashamed. The little guy really wants her dad to get her a sect to play with. The audience in the live broadcast room was instantly excited. There are 3.7 scenes. There is actually a scene. Although the horoscope has not been revealed yet. The barrage area and comment area of the live broadcast room have already started, and registrations are crazy. At least tens of millions of people are signing up. This shocked all the major sects and clans in the cultivation world. Good guy, first let's not talk about quality issues. This quantity is a bit scary. If that man founded a section, wouldn't it become the strongest sect in China, or even the world, in an instant? Don't forget. It's not just about quantity. That in the man's hands, there were many superb techniques, lost ancient secrets, etc. For a moment, they didn't know whether to be excited or worried. Just when tens of thousands of people gathered, it was very lively. Even in the live broadcast room, there are times when there is some confusion. Rumble. The weather was originally sunny. Suddenly there was the sound of thunder and explosion. Just for a moment. The sky became dark. Dark clouds are gathering and the wind is blowing. A series of terrifying lightnings bloomed continuously from the sky. It was as if the sky was torn into pieces. The onlookers were completely frightened. After all, this place is extremely empty. The geographical location is still very high. If any thunder accidentally hits me, I'm afraid I will die. All of a sudden, most of the onlookers dispersed. The chief director, Wang Zhenjiao, was also trembling with fear and walked over. He said that such bad weather may not be suitable for climbing the Great Wall or live broadcasting. But Zhou Xi interrupted everyone's words. It's not bad weather. Instead, there are demons and demons at work. Zhou Xi said while pointing in the air. Everyone looked up and felt their scalps were numb and their whole bodies felt cold. He almost collapsed to the ground. Yang Mi, my daughter catches ghosts. Scared millions of viewers. Author, Tianyi Madman. Chapter 107. Damn, what is that? Scary to death. Dragon? No. It's not a dragon, it seems to be a huge snake head. Snake head? Why did I only see mountains floating in the air, covered with all kinds of moss and covered with various trees? I almost peed again. There really is a huge snake head, those mountains are the bodies of these snakes. How many snakes? Why do I look like a snake body connected together? Wait a minute, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Are these 8 snakes connected together? 8 snake heads are connected together, and the snake's body is covered with various moss and trees, like a mountain. This monster looks so damn familiar. Yamata no Orokai of Sakurajima Kingdom. That's right, it's the Yamata no Orokai of Sakurajima country, exactly the same as the legendary one. Go crazy. Is this Sakurajima Kingdom coming to seek revenge? No wonder there was a strong wind and thunder and lightning. According to legend, the Yamata no Orokai is a very dangerous creature, and it will appear like this wherever it goes. Yamata no Orokai. Also known as Matato Ryokai and Hata Mata Ryokai. It is a monster that brings ferocious disasters in the myths and legends of Sakurajima Kingdom. There are 8 snake heads and 8 snake tails, and their bodies are intertwined together, covered with moss and trees, like continuous mountains. Later, he was beheaded and surrendered by Susanoo, the younger brother of Amaterasu from Sakurajima Kingdom. But no one would have thought of it. In this legend, a very dangerous thing comes from Sakurajima Kingdom. It actually appeared in reality, and it was still in China, beside the Great Wall. Ah, then, what is that? What a big snake! No, not one, but several. It seems that in the legend, the Yamata no Orokai of the island country, run away. Mom, my legs are weak. I don't want to practice anymore. Isn't that okay if I don't practice anymore? The people who joined in the fun at the scene felt more directly and more horrified than the audience in the live broadcast room. One by one, they cried for their fathers and mothers, and those who drove and those who got in the car. They ran away in an instant. Diliriba, Yang Mi, as well as Wang Zhenjiao and other staff members were all frightened to death. After all, The Yamata no Orokai looked really huge and scary. How could the legendary unparalleled beast be able to? It's a waste of fame. 04 Only Joshi's expression remained unchanged. A pair of big eyes flickered, staring at the Yamata no Orokai in mid-air. She even spoke to comfort Yang Mi, Dili Reba, and others. "Mom, Aunt Reba, don't be afraid. This is just the phantom of the Yamata no Orokai gathered by someone, not the real coming of its true form. As far as this baby knows, only members of the royal family of Sakurajima Kingdom have the ability to do this. And it requires many members of the royal family to join forces. So, he should be a member of the royal family of Sakurajima Kingdom. With many practitioners from the entire Sakurajima Kingdom. Under the guise of revenge for the Yuling sect, I want to take action against this baby, or even against China." Hearing Joshi's words, Yang Mi and Dili Reba seemed to be comforted a little, but they didn't seem to be comforted. Is this just the shadow of Yamata no Orokai? But the shadows are so terrifying. If it were the real body, wouldn't it be even more scary? In addition, the members of the Sakurajima Kingdom royal family, with many practitioners from the entire Sakurajima Kingdom, want to take action against us? This sounds like very bad news. In the live broadcast room, the audience were amazed when they heard Joshi's words. But they were also a little confused. After all, the entire Sakurajima Kingdom cultivators, led by members of the royal family, came to the land of China. It sounded a bit too much. It's an exaggeration. I really think that there is no one in China. Aren't we afraid that all the major sects in China will unite and make dumplings for them? But soon, everyone discovered what Joshi said seemed to be true. There behind Yamata no Orokai, streams of light flashed continuously. Each stream of light was a figure. Some were wearing Sakurajima Kingdom kimonos, some were wearing Sakurajima Kingdom samurai robes. Some were dressed in modern and casual clothes. Finally, there were more than 100 figures staying in the sky. The 20 or 30 people at the front were all dressed in Sakurajima Kingdom royal attire. More or less, they were all born with deformities and looked very eye-catching. And the leader of all people location. It's a figure wearing a yellow-dyed royal robe, a jade crown, and grey hair on the temples. It's an old emperor of Sakurajima Kingdom hundreds of years ago. Damn it, are you crazy? The people from Sakurajima Kingdom are really coming. These members of the royal family in front look so familiar, especially the old man in the front. Damn it, I remembered. I saw his portrait when I was traveling in Sakurajima country. Shouldn't this guy have been dead for hundreds of years? What happened? This is the time for war. The Yamata no Orokai opens the way, and hundreds of practitioners descend. Moreover, these people can actually fly in the air. I am afraid they are all innately strong. Just for Joshi, they are too aggressive. Maybe it's not just because of Joshi, but because of her unreliable father. The number of online viewers in the live broadcast room has reached 120 million. People from almost every country in the world are paying attention to this matter. The old emperor of Sakurajima Kingdom, with more than 108 monks, came to China. This is a very explosive thing for the whole world. Little baby, you actually recognize this Yamata no Orokai. Did you also guess that we would take action against you? Not bad. Sure enough, he is a devilish talent. At a young age, he is already very smart and unique. Standing on a snake head of Yamata no Orokai. The old emperor was not angry and sneered at Joshi. He was not in a hurry to take action. Because he was waiting for more people to arrive. He looks so ugly. You can remember him at a glance. It's hard not to recognize him. As for what you will do to me. My Barbie said it. He said that if Sister 11 and I attack Sakurajima Kingdom and destroy the Yulingmen, You will definitely covet the treasures and skills in the hands of the two of us. Then in the name of asking for an explanation for Yu Ling sect, take action against us. But my father obviously overestimates you. He thought you would be in Sakurajima Kingdom, so he launched a siege on us. I didn't expect you guys to be so cowardly and didn't dare to take action. Are you waiting for everyone to gather together before you dare to catch up? Besides, I'm not a monster. You, the royal family members of Sakurajima Kingdom, are all twisted and twisted, so you are more like the real monsters. The other side didn't panic. Joshi, I didn't panic either. She retorted point by point without any politeness. The more than 100 monks from the Sakurajima Kingdom on the other side turned blue with anger. Especially those members of the Sakurajima Kingdom's royal family who were born with deformities. Hearing Joshi say that they are monsters, she was so angry that her eyes almost burst out of her eyes. She even held the weapon and was ready to take action at any time. But at this moment, a very angry man, the voice suddenly came from the direction of Kyoto. His Excellency Emperor Rajan. Not a single hello. He just brought more than 108 masters to invade our Chinese land. Could it be that Sakurajima country's spiritual practice world? Are you planning to declare war on our Chinese cultivation world? The sound came from far to near. At the beginning, I couldn't hear it clearly. Later, it was like a bell, blasting in everyone's ears. Including the audience in the live broadcast room, they couldn't help but turn down the sound. Turned down the volume. Finally, after a series of shocking flashes, there was a group of people in the sky. Just after seeing this group of people, Yang Mi, Deliriba, and others, as well as the audience in the live broadcast room, there is a sense of separation. This group of people are all old men and women. Although the practitioners in Sakurajima country are also of the same age. But they are obviously dressed up. Looks like what a practitioner should look like. But this group of people from China, look a bit casual. Just like those old grandparents and grandmothers who can be seen everywhere on the roadside. Anyone can unexpectedly, this group of people, can actually fly in the air. They are indeed the innate experts in China. Damn it, are these our Chinese practitioners? Why does it look like a bit of a joke? If they hadn't flown in and stood in mid-air. I thought this was the senior citizen dating corner. It's probably too late to change clothes. It can be seen from this that, the ordinary-looking people around us may be ghosts or practitioners. Probably because of this. They also didn't expect that the little devils from Sakurajima Kingdom would dare to attack China collectively. And just because of two little girls of 5 or 6 years old. Appearance is not important, and we cannot judge people by their appearance. But in terms of quantity, there is a big difference. Yes. There were at least 1,560 people on the opposite side. Why are there only 20 or 30 people here? Horse riding. If I hadn't been able to fly, I would have rushed over and killed these little devils. I think you should forget it, this is not an ordinary little devil. This horse is a flying little devil. He is even more awesome than the one in the anti-Japanese drama. What to do? What to do? I suddenly panicked. This looks unbeatable. In the live broadcast room, there is already a big mess, a pot of porridge. There are barrage comments from various countries. It's just that the viewers from other countries are just watching the excitement. The barrage and comments from China, it is full of worry. It seems that the strength of the two sides is really very different. Not to mention the phantom of the behemoth and peerless evil Yamata no Orokai. The innate practitioners of Sakurajima Kingdom alone have 150. There were 60 people. They looked very imposing and ferocious. Especially Emperor Rajan. Someone searched and found out that he was the 112th emperor of Sakurajima Kingdom. He was born in 1654. In 13 years, he shaved his head and became the Dharma Emperor, with the Dharma name Sujeng. Although the information said that he was dead, it was obvious that he was not dead, and had lived for 369 years. His strength was so strong that he could just imagine. Look at the local innate practitioners in China, there are only 20 or 30 of them. Not to mention the momentum and majesty. They look no different from the old men and old ladies who go out to make soy sauce. There were at most 2 old men, who looked like they were playing chess on the street. There were also a few old ladies, who looked like they were doing square dancing. Kong Yun's hung. You old guy, you're not dead yet. Seeing the visitor from China, Emperor Reizhan of Sakurajima Kingdom sneered and greeted him. Obviously, both parties are old acquaintances. His Excellency Emperor Reizhan is not dead yet. My old bones will naturally last for a few more years. The leader from China, the old man surnamed Kong, also responded with a sneer. How many years will it last? I don't think so. This little Chinese kid of yours has trespassed into our Sakurajima kingdom. It has violated the treaty between practitioners in each of our countries. They also used very cruel methods to massacre a sect in our Sakurajima kingdom. Now, I want to take them all back to my Sakurajima country. It seems that you want to stop me. With just you guys, do you think you can stop me? It can't be done. You old bones may be buried here today. The edge of the Great Wall seems to be a good place to stay for you Chinese people. Emperor Reizhan of Sakurajima Kingdom is obviously very confident in his side's combat power. He expressed his intentions unceremoniously. He even made an undisguised threat to China's 173 innate powerhouses such as Kong Yun's hung. Haha, as expected of Zairi, the boss of Sakurajima's devils. Emperor Reizhan, your face is much thicker than that of your descendants. But your ability to confuse right and wrong is obviously not as good as your descendants. No matter how shameless they are, they still know how to find some high-sounding reasons when they do evil things. You can't even find a reason. They are obviously from Sakurajima Kingdom and the Yuling section. They are the first to covet our Chinese treasures and even want to kidnap our Chinese citizens. These 2 little girls went to Yulingmen to seek justice. Why did it come to your mouth, but we made the first move? Also, in order to practice magic skills, the Yuling sect planned the Nanjing massacre last time. It has violated the agreement among practitioners all over the world and deserves death. The main thing is, we just went there with 2 young children, only 5 or 6 years old. Yulingmen, as the leader of the 6 sects among the 3 sects, 6 sects, and 12 sects in your Sakurajima kingdom. However, the family was wiped out by 2 children. It's just that they are too good at it. What's there to complain about on their behalf? The old man named Kong Yun's hung, who is neither humble nor arrogant, retorted. He. It's too late to say anything now. I still say the same thing. This little girl, and another little girl with a sword. We are going to take it back to Sakurajima country for disposal. If you don't want to die, just watch from the sidelines. Otherwise, don't blame us. There are too many people to bully and there are too few people to bully us. After being retorted by Kong Yun's hung, Emperor Sakurajima Reizhan was obviously a little angry. He was no longer ready to show off his face. He was no longer ready to pretend. I just ignored it, but I have a very tough attitude. He. As expected, I don't even have any shame. The majestic emperor of Sakurajima country actually did such a shameless thing. Not to mention the citizens of Sakurajima country, even I, my sworn enemy for many years, am ashamed of you. Then I, Kong Yun's hung, will leave my words here today. As long as one of us old bones is still alive, you will absolutely not be able to move this little girl. After Mr. Kong finished speaking, the demeanor of the old men and ladies behind him changed greatly. The originally rickety figures also straightened up. Come on, you bastard, Sakurajima devil. Old lady, I've been waiting for this day for a long time. What should we be afraid of if we beat less people and more people are beaten? It's not like we haven't fought before. These sons of bitches, even if I die today, I will have to take a few of them to hell with me. If you want to touch our little 11, just step over your grandma's and mine's corpse. Originally they looked like soy sauce, old men and old ladies. At this time, each of them had firm eyes, and even a smile of relief. They were clearly ready to fight with their lives and to die at any time. Yang Mi, my daughter catches ghosts. Scared millions of viewers. Author, Tianyi Madman. Chapter 108. Looking at the white-haired and hunched figures in mid-air. Suddenly he became so tall and straight, so unyielding. Hearing them laugh and curse at the little devil from Sakurajima before they died generously, everyone suddenly felt a familiar sense of déjà vu. Suddenly. It's like going back to an era when wars were raging and smoke was everywhere. At that time, there were thousands of them. They should all be participating in the war. Only. Some people fight in the secular world. Some people are just trying their best in the spiritual world. I don't know when. In the originally restless live broadcast room, the Chinese audience suddenly fell silent collectively. In the barrage and comment areas, there are almost no words from China. There are only foreign melon eaters who are watching the fun and don't mind it. In various analyses, the gap between Sakurajima Kingdom and Huaxia Kingdom has been revealed. But no matter how you analyze it, the combat power of China is so different. Beside the Great Wall, Yang Mi and Diliriba couldn't help but have red eyes. Once upon a time, it was a group of people like this who were trying to protect the integrity of China's territory. He is using his own life to bring peace to thousands of people in China for several generations. It's just them at that time. He should be in the dark, hiding his merit and fame. Until today. They can finally stand up openly, but they have to face a new enemy. Moreover, these enemies have several times the power of themselves. Haha, that's great. You all really want to die. To be honest, I'm really afraid that you will give in. After all, you are very clear about the current situation in your Chinese cultivation world. Although he is obviously weak and pitiful, he is still a ball of loose sand. Even if there is no such thing. We have long wanted to come over and deal with you. Emperor Rajan of Sakurajima Kingdom laughed loudly. He laughed wildly and proudly. It was as if he had already seen the victory in the future. Ling Yuan. Could it be that you were too happy too early? Not to mention that our old bones are not dead yet. Even if we really want to die. I, Kong Yun's Hung, will definitely drag everyone in Sakurajima Kingdom with me to hell. Fight, we can't beat you. But if you try your best, you will never survive. Kong Yun's Hung said word by word. His cold gaze swept across all the monks in Sakurajima Kingdom in turn. It was as if he wanted to carve their appearance into his soul. That's right. We dared to stand up today without thinking about going back alive. What are you afraid of if you go all out? I'm very tough, and I like to go all out the most. Decades ago, when you attacked hundreds of thousands of ordinary people in Nanjing, I should have died. I have been living for decades just to wait for this day and have a few more people to support me. Old woman, I make an oath here. You'd better kill me, my soul will be destroyed. Otherwise, I, the old woman, will turn into a fierce ghost and I will definitely find you. Me too. If the ghost spirit is still there after death, I will turn to the ghost path. As long as Sakurajima Kingdom is immortal, I will never be reincarnated. Together, together. Old man, I've long been tired of being treated like a human being. As long as you can deal with these little devils, it doesn't matter if you are a true devil. It's better to be a good person than to be a ghost. As long as the little devil from Sakurajima country survives for one day, I will haunt you for the rest of my life. Behind Kong Yun's Hung, there were white-haired figures, all with smiles on their faces. But in their words, they had completely ignored life and death. Then everyone stared at those cherry blossoms. The cultivators of the island country seemed to be really ready to transform into ghosts, continue to pester them. Suddenly, more than 108 practitioners of Sakurajima Kingdom were confused by the gazes of 20 or 30 people. There was a chill all over the body, and even a slight tremor in the liver. They didn't understand it very much. Obviously everyone was an innate practitioner. There were only 20 or 30 people on the other side, but there were 150 or 60 people on their side. Why were they affected by their momentum? Are you scared? This is unreasonable. Where has the spirit of our Bushido gone? After their eyes met, they suddenly woke up, and recognized the gap between the two sides. It is a will to die. These Chinese innate practitioners are not in the they are making such nonsense. Every one of them is really prepared to fight with their lives and die at any time, they are even prepared to lose their souls and disappear from the world forever. Or to turn to the ghost realm after death. Even if they turn into fierce ghosts, they will never be able to escape. They will continue to fight for China and will not stop until the Sakurajima Kingdom is destroyed. Why are my eyes sore? Did I cry? Impossible. I haven't cried in more than 10 years while riding a horse. When I read our modern history of China before, I didn't quite understand it. How did we survive under such difficult conditions and with such a gap in equipment? Now that I see these grandparents, I suddenly understand. When I just saw these grandparents, I actually felt a little embarrassed. Why are our Chinese monks such old, weak and disabled soldiers? Now, I really want to beat myself to death. Me either. Until one by one, they straightened their backs and supported their rickety bodies. I suddenly understood, they can indeed represent our China. Because they are the pillars of our China, the backbone of our China, and the soul of our China. No. I want to go to the scene, even though I can't contribute, I still want to go to the scene to watch this battle. I also want to go, no matter what the outcome, I want to see these grandparents with my own eyes. Brothers and sisters. Hold it back, really. If we go, it will only add to the chaos. It's better not to distract the grandparents. What the person above said is right, maybe that's what they want for us to stay at home honestly. But I really can't stand it, how can we be so virtuous, and what qualifications do we have to enjoy a comfortable life, but let them fight for us? I want to become a disciple, I want to practice. I don't seek immortality, nor do I seek to be the best in the world, I just hope that one day, I can become someone like them. Even if you sacrifice your life, you still have to support the backbone of China and protect the glory of China. In the live broadcast room, comments from Chinese people appeared again. But this time, the style of painting didn't go astray. Every barrage text is extremely solemn, even extremely heavy. It was as if they could feel that every time their fingers pressed the keyboard, they carried a power that was uniquely Chinese. Of course. Such words and power. Not everyone can empathize. For example, the people of Sakurajima country have been doing nothing for most of the day. Now I finally stood up, crackling, sending various barrages. Making fun of China, making fun of these Chinese grandparents, and even making remarks about the demise of China, etc. And people from other countries. It's not too big of a deal to just watch the excitement, all kinds of dirty words, all kinds of ridicule and teasing. But now, everyone has no intention of arguing with them. Just quietly, watching the development of the situation. I hope China can usher in a turn of events. Hee. One by one, they spoke impassionedly. But I can only hear one sentence. That is you yourselves, you all know it very clearly. You will definitely lose. Also dead. Before you die, You are thinking of fighting with your life and holding us on your back, right? I even thought that after I died, I would turn to the Yinling ghost way and continue to fight for China, right? Excuse me. You don't have this chance. Today, I will let you have a good experience. What is despair? The despair of not even having a chance to become a ghost. In Sakurajima Kingdom, the voice of Emperor Reizhan sounded again. At the same time, he reached out to Yao Yao and pointed behind him. Everyone, including the camera lens, also looked there. Then, everyone felt a chill in their hearts, streams of light pierced the sky. Shocked, another 50 or 60 figures arrived. Wait for these figures to stand still. Everyone finally saw what these people looked like. It's just that the first impression they give everyone is weird. At first glance, these people appear to be very young. The innate strong men of Waxia and Sakurajima Kingdom are basically all white-haired and wrinkled. As for the new group of people, some have black hair, some have red hair, some even have blue hair, and there are various hairstyles such as highlights. Not to mention the clothes on her body, the suits and leather shoes, and the women's little dresses. They all look like very expensive luxuries. But if you look carefully, you will find that the faces of these people are not very natural. He has obviously had plastic surgery. And she also applied a layer of thick makeup. Especially the old lady at the head, who was wearing a black silk dress. She had age spots on her body, but her face was painted extremely coquettishly. It's unbearable to look at. Park Xiaojhan, you old stick, are you ready to get involved? Have you forgotten that the last time you fought against me, I knocked you back to your original shape? Now he looks like a human being. After taking off his makeup, he has a big bald head, which looks like a braised egg. I get goosebumps all over my body just thinking about it. Kong Yun's Hung stared at the extremely charming old lady and laughed loudly. Although the tone is quite relaxed. But everyone can see. Mr. Kong is in a very bad mood now. There are 150 or 60 innate experts in Sakurajima Kingdom, which is several times the number in the whole of China. Now here comes this group of old goblins from the Bangsa Kingdom, 50 or 60 of them. No matter which side, they far exceed the fighting strength of the Chinese side. What's more, they are ready to join forces. Kong Latif. You are still so arrogant. But I'm not angry at all. Because I know that today is the day you die. It would be okay if your soul is gone. If your yin spirit survives, I will definitely capture it, fry it, and roast it every day, and make you suffer all the tortures in the yin spirit world. The charming old lady called Pu Xiaojhan. She was not angry when she spoke. But the biting coldness between her words almost overflowed. Especially the last sentence. Gritting her teeth, almost squeezing through the gaps between her teeth, came out. It can be seen that her hatred for Kong Yun's Hung is even greater than that of Emperor Reizhan of Sakurajima province. How's it going, Kong Yun's Hung? And you old immortals? Do you still think you have a chance to fight us? Don't worry. This is just the beginning. Look, someone is coming over there again. Emperor Lingyun said with a smile, and pointed to the west again. This time, there was no light floating in the sky. But there were figures one after another, coming through the sky. They didn't seem to be taking fast steps. But every time every step he takes seems to be able to span a period of time and space. In the blink of an eye, these people are suspended in mid-air. They are surrounded by Sakurajima Kingdom and Bangsa Kingdom, looking at everyone in China coldly. Asin Kingdom. From the curry cult costumes on, these people can clearly identify their origins. But now, no one cares about this. What everyone cares about more is the number. This group of people from Asin Kingdom is actually more powerful than Sakurajima Kingdom. There are even more. Even thinking about the combined total of Sakurajima Kingdom and Bangsa Kingdom, there are more than 200 people. In other words, at this moment, there are already 4 innate monks standing on the hostile side of China. More than 100 people. Nearly 20 times that of Kong Lao and others from China. Such a disparity in combat power is already insurmountable. No wonder Emperor Reizhan of Sakurajima Kingdom just now was so confident and sure of victory. So, under the disparity in combat power, it's useless even if Kong Lao and others have the will to die. Fight 1-on-1, fight against 2. You can still fight against 3, against 4, against 10. Or even against 20. Desperately. That's not desperate. It's simply risking one's life. At this moment, the people of the entire China feel their hearts are at the bottom. But this is still not over. Someone is coming again. This time there are more than a dozen figures, coming with a sword. Kong Yun's Hung, long time no see. I heard that you have been trying to find me. Want me to come out from northern Myanmar? As you wish, Chen's Hongai am out. It's just that I came out and watched you die, haha. When they saw Yu Jianfei's figure, the people of China were vaguely looking forward to it. They thought they were their own people. And they all looked like they were dressed in Chinese clothes. But they heard the people laughing and talking. The people of China, my heart is filled with despair. These dozen, are actually enemies. Chen's Hongai, you traitor. King, actually collaborated with others to deal with his own country. Ungrateful, something worse than a pig or a dog. Have you forgotten who brought you back to the organization when you were about to starve to death? Lao Kong didn't speak this time. It was an old woman behind him who couldn't hold back her temper and cursed loudly. Everyone finally knew who this person was, a traitor. Northern Burma. All in one. He's just a member of the spiritual world, all in. How about it, Kong Yun's Hung? Do you know that today, you will definitely die, and you are starting to panic? Haha, don't worry. The protagonist today is not you. Just you old immortals are not enough for us to mobilize our troops like this. Killing people like you is just a matter of convenience. Emperor Sakurajima Reizhan said with a sinister smile. Then he looked down, where Yang Mi and Diliriba were. Finally, his sinister gaze rested on Zhou Xi. Little girl. You can call your dad out now. There are so many of us, isn't that enough for him to take action? Or rather, he is already scared when he sees so many of us. Are you even ignoring your own wife and daughter? Although everyone had guessed everything from the beginning. But now, after hearing the words of Emperor Reizhan of Sakurajima Kingdom, everyone was really sure. The target of these people was indeed that man. In today's China, there is nothing to covet. But that man has. He can raise 2 such outstanding daughters. He can also teach his daughters so many ancient secret techniques and cultivation techniques. There is definitely a huge secret in him. And there are a large number of top-quality spiritual stones on his daughter. In his so-called warehouse, there will definitely be more and more good things that people can't imagine. Doing so many. They are forcing that man, to show up. County. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Yang Mi, my daughter catches ghosts. Scared millions of viewers. Author, Tianyi Madman. Chapter 109. It turns out that you have brought so many people here just because you want to see my father. It's a pity that he is really not here. Otherwise, he would have come out openly and openly. He is not as timid as you, who dares to show his face only when there are many people. As for the question of Emperor Sakurajima Reizhan, Zhou Xi blinked her big eyes and answered seriously. Haha, the little guy is still so sharp-tongued. Whether you are there or not, you will know after trying it. This emperor doesn't believe it. He could still helplessly watch his wife and daughter die tragically in front of him. Emperor Sakurajima Rajan said, his true energy was circulating around his body, and his aura was rising steadily. Step by step, he walked towards the location of Yang Mi, Diliriba, and others. In his eyes, there was no concealment. Murderous intent. Boo-hoo-hoo. Led by Kong Yun's Hung, there are 26 Yentian monks from the Huaxia kingdom. He stood directly in front of Zhou Shii and others. In the same way, the true energy in the body is circulated to the extreme. Be ready at any time to strike with all your might. Ha ha. Kong Yun's Hung, you old guys can't wait to die. That man doesn't care about his wife and daughter. You old guys are quite considerate of this. Emperor Rajan of Sakurajima Kingdom said with a ferocious smile. The aura on his body was still rising rapidly, including those behind him, the innate monks of Sakurajima Kingdom, as well as the surrounding monks of Bangsa Kingdom, Asan Kingdom monks, and the traders from northern Burma, etc. Wait. We are all ready to start a war at any time. Oldies. It's time to fight. In today's battle, we old bones will definitely die. I know, you are not afraid. But I still want to say. No matter who it is, if there is a chance, just take Xiao Xi away. For us China, leave the last trace of fire and the possibility of re-emergence. Kong Yun's Hung warned the 20 people behind him in a deep voice. Then, he shouted loudly to the sky. Zhuyi. I don't know if you, the mysterious brat, are here or not. So far, all we know is a name. But no matter what, old man, I just want to say something to you. Don't be impulsive. China has been weak for a long time and was already in danger. It's your boy, and the appearance of these two little dolls. Let us old guys see hope again. If we fight today, I will die without any regrets. 120 What you have to do is not to stand up and die now. But wait until one day, you or these two little guys are strong enough. Revitalize my reputation as a Chinese nation. These words of Mr. Kong Yun's Hung finally let the audience in the live broadcast room know the name of that man. Zhou Yi. But at this moment, those who originally clamored to fight this guy desperately, all stopped moving. They all understood. Mr. Kong Yun's Hung, what is the meaning of shouting these words? No matter whether this man named Zhou Yi is nearby or not. They don't want this man to join the battle. Even if they die. Even if Yang Mi, Diliriba, Zhou Shii and others were unable to break through the encirclement. Mr. Kong Yun's Hung still did not want that man to come forward. Because they all knew very well. This time, the enemies China had to face were too numerous and too powerful. Stronger. Even if that man comes forward, so what? He will just die with everyone. They fight to the death, just to save the man and his two daughters as much as possible. Because these three people. It may be China, the hope of re-emergence. Haha, old thief Kong. What he said is righteous and awe-inspiring. But it's of no use. If so many of us take action today, you old guys will definitely die. That boy, his name is Zhou Yi, right? It would be better if he came out. If it doesn't come out, we don't mind carrying out another wave of purges against China. Even if you dig 3 feet into the ground, you will turn China upside down. He will definitely be found. This time, the person who spoke was the charming old woman named Pu Xiaojhan from Bangsa country. That's right. China is a great place for you. The orthodox origin of the spiritual path. The last time we were jointly purged by 8 countries, we made a lot of money. It's a pity that we didn't catch up. This time. As an old neighbor, I, Sangwo, will definitely do my part. The leader of Asan Kingdom, who had been silent for a long time, also spoke. He was an old guy wearing a crown and a holy robe. He was obviously wearing gold and silver, but because he was dark, he looked a bit like a Chinese comedian. Song Xiaobao looked like he was wearing an oversized dragon robe. He didn't look majestic, just a little funny. Kong Yun's hung, go die in peace. We have made a gentleman's agreement. After you old guys die, I, Chen's Hongai, will come back and lead the Chinese spiritual world. Haha, winner and loser. By then, won't it be up to me to rewrite history? The traitor from northern Myanmar laughed wildly. The war is about to break out. And it is a war with no suspense. No matter how you look at it, how you analyze it. China is not an opponent of several forces united. This is a fatal situation. Whether it is the people at the scene or the Chinese people in the live broadcast room, at this moment, they all feel an inexplicable sense of sadness and a deep sense of powerlessness. I don't know how many people beat their chests and solemnly. I hate that I am not a practitioner. I don't even have the chance to fight for China. I don't know how many people have shed tears, but they don't know what to do. I can only pray silently in my heart for Mr. Kong Yun's Hung and the others. I just hope everyone can be safe and sound. China can usher in a glimmer of hope. But they also know it very well. This is simply impossible. Seeing that the war is imminent. The sky not far away suddenly appeared, streams of light. Zhang Jiwei of Longhu Mountain, brought 4 heavenly masters and came to die. As this voice came, people were the first to see an old figure. His real age is unknown. But from the appearance, he is probably 70 or 80 years old, very old. His hair, beard, and even his eyebrows are all white with frost. If someone has been to Longhu Mountain, you may have seen this person. However, at that time, he may have been wearing a grey Taoist robe. He looked like an ordinary old Taoist priest, which was not attractive, attracting everyone's attention. Today, he is dressed much more solemnly than when he was at Longhu Mountain. He is wearing a purple-based Taoist robe with intertwined gold and silver threads. On it are drawn pagodas, cranes, dragons and phoenixes, the sun and the moon, Star City, etc., represent the auspicious patterns of Taoism. This Taoist robe is also called Tianxian Dong Ai. Because when I rode a green ox out of the customs, there was a saying that purple qi comes from the east. Therefore, Taoism advocates purple, and purple Taoist robes became the highest standard configuration. Only when holding large-scale fasting rituals and other ceremonies, the presiding master is qualified to wear it. Behind the old celestial master Zhang Jiwei, there are still 4 celestial masters standing. They may look relatively young, but they are not much younger. The most youthful one has gray hair and beard. Just like the old celestial master Zhang Jiwei. The clothes of these 4 celestial masters are also quite solemn and elegant. They are all wearing bright red robes. It also depicts dragons, embroiders and phoenixes, and uses gold and silver threads to draw various patterns. However, it is simpler than the Tianxian Dong Ai. Only 5 golden dragons are more conspicuous. This Taoist robe is called the 5 Dragons Panyi. It is also large scale. The celestial master's robe is only worn during events such as fasting, offering sacrifices, etc. Heavenly Master. Today's dilemma, no solution. You shouldn't have come. Yes. Heavenly Master. It's enough to catch up with us old bones. Why bother? Seeing the 5 celestial masters from the celestial master's mansion in Longhu Mountain gathered together, Mr. Kong Yun's Hung and others did not show happy expressions. Instead, they felt a little emotional and sighed. Haha, what should or should not be done? Huaxia is the Huaxia of all people in the world. If someone comes to invade, it will be natural for everyone in the world to fight against it. Even if I, Long Hushan, am not strong enough, I will still do my part. How about it, old man, am I one of the handsome ones in this fairy cave suit? Ebib. Where's the lens? What about you, the guy with the camera next to the little guy? Give me a pat on the old Taoist. Let everyone in China take a look at my last glorious image. Horse riding. Originally, these 2 days were the days of our Tianji Mansion's annual King of Glory and Landlord Chicken Eating League. We were farming in the canyon, eating chicken on the battlefield, and 2 farmers were fighting against the landlord. Prepare to compete for the titles of the strongest king, the strongest chicken king, and the strongest landlord. Who would have thought that the world would suddenly change? However, Xiao Xi, this girl doll, is really good. The golden light spell has already been completed at a young age. And she knows more about the various talismans of my Longhu Mountain patriarch, Zhang Daoling, than I do. I don't know how she raised her unreliable father. I just heard you say, that guy's name is Zhou Yi, right? The ugly words come from the front. You old guys, we don't care whether you die or not. If there is a chance, we have only one goal. Just to get this little girl out of the siege. Longhu Mountain, for so many years, there has never been a real female celestial master. I think this little girl is good, maybe she can inherit the tradition of my Tianji mansion. When the old heavenly master Zhang Jiwei began to speak, everyone was still moved. But as he spoke, the style of painting suddenly became distorted. Everyone was obviously in tears, but they couldn't help but laugh. King of Glory, Chicken Fight Landlord League. Is Longhu Mountain so good at playing? Do you still want to train Zhou Xi to be the first female celestial master in Longhu Mountain? She clearly looks like a serious celestial master. She suddenly made these remarks and even exploded. Swear words. Don't be too disobedient. It made everyone feel sour, but they couldn't help but laugh out loud. Such a free and easy master, is really unexpected. The old Taoist Union brought 6 elders of the Wudang sect and came to die. Another long breathing voice sounded. 7 figures flying in the air soon arrived in front of everyone. Although they were both members of the Taoist sect, these 7 figures in Wudang Mountain were different from the old Tianji who had an out-of-touch personality. The clothes of the others are much simpler. No, it should be said that they are too simple. The leader is an old Taoist who is over 60 years old and looks quite honest. He only wears a white robe. The other 6 people are even more simple. She was wearing a single gray robe. Her hair was only tied into a bun with the simplest wooden hairpins. There were even some broken hair fluttering in the wind, and she looked like she was holding it up casually. But it was just the simplest. Dress up. Standing in mid-air, they feel like they are immortal. Master Union. You, why are you here? Seeing the 7 Taoist priests of the Wudang sect, Mr. Kong Yunzhen's face became a little bitter. He should have been happy that these people could come to help. But as he just said, this dilemma, there are many implications. In addition to the Sakurajima Kingdom, Bangza Kingdom, Asan Kingdom, and the traitor in front of you, I am afraid there are more people watching covetously from one side. There is no solution at all. The more people come, the more people come to know about China's cultivation. As far as the world is concerned, the consumption will be greater. How can he be happy? I, an old Taoist priest, am dull-minded and do not understand the ways of the world. But I can also know a word. Every man is responsible for the rise and fall of a country. If there is no skin left, how will the hair be attached? Are there complete eggs under the nest? Since they have all come to China to attack us. If you want to fight, then fight. Master Union of Wudang Mountain said. He and the 6 masters behind him clenched the swords in their hands. They looked neither happy nor sad, with no fighting spirit and no will to die. But everyone can understand. He has already put life and death aside. Because of that sentence. Every man is responsible for the rise and fall of a country. Ha ha, so lively. In such a prosperous age, wouldn't it be overshadowed if we, the Ime sect, were missing? The poor nun meditated and took 3 senior sisters from the Ime sect to come to die. A woman's hearty laughter rang out. 4 figures wearing Zi clothes soon appeared in the sky. They were the 4 masters of the Ime sect. There were just some fans of Jin Yang. When they heard the name Jingzin, I couldn't help but be stunned for a moment. Jingzin. Isn't this the name of Zhou's hero in the Legend of Heaven and Dragon Sword? Mr. Jin Yang's story can't be true. Or, this teacher's wife turned out to be Zhou's hero's name in Mr. Jin Yang's work's prototype. Even the Ime sect has come, if I, Huashan, don't come. How can they be worthy of the Yuling sect? They even compared us before they were destroyed. Huashan Lu Juyuan, together with 3 elders, came to die. The Huashan sect has also come. There are even many people who hope to hear Ling Huchang's name. But if you think about it carefully, even if Ling Huchang really exists, he doesn't seem to be the leader of Huashan. As for you Buchan, forget it, it's probably fictional. Otherwise, the Huashan school would never have let Mr. Jin Yang write it. Shaolin Temple is empty, with 6 old monks coming to die. The people from the Shaolin Temple actually came. And after hearing this title, many Jin Yang fans began to be confused again. Kong Ran? The title of the strongest sweeping monk in the Tianlong Babu? Really? Some martial arts the characters in the novel, Mr. Jin Yang, were not just made up, but real people. And these people are still alive today. But, how did Mr. Jin Yang know the identities of these people in the first place? Is it possible? Is he also a person in the spiritual world? Calculated according to the lifespan of the spiritual world. These people may have lived for 200 to 300 years, or even 300 to 400 years old. Of course, after reaching a certain age, they will all be in the secular world. Faking death, completely escaping into the world of cultivation. Mr. Jin Yang, couldn't he also fake his death? If he were still alive, would he be very powerful? Would he also appear? A bold idea, in the hearts of many Jin Yang fans of course. Now is not the time to worry about these things. The unsolvable dilemma in front of us is the top priority. In the sky, someone else came. They were 5 figures in white outfits and flying with swords. What's wrong with Kunlun, armed with the 4 swords of Kunlun, come here to die? Yang Mi, my daughter catches ghosts. Scared millions of viewers. Author, Tianyi Madman. Chapter 110. Kunlun, what's the point? The 3 saints of Kunlun in the Legend of Heaven and Dragon slaying? He is famous in the western regions for his 3 skills of piano, chess, and sword, and he is also the confidant of Ime's founder Guo Xiang. I heard that there was another Mr. Jin Yang, and the characters in his novels came out of the novel. I don't know how many Jin Yang fans are even more convinced of their guesses. Mr. Jin Yang is definitely a person in the spiritual world. Although everyone knows that a novel is a novel after all, maybe it just borrows the names of these predecessors. However, after all, it is a familiar name and a familiar feeling. It made everyone's spirits quite exciting. Hizutao is an old man who looks quite elegant. The Kunlun 4 swordsmen following behind him were quite domineering. They are 4 tall, handsome, and powerful men. Among the old, weak, and remnant soldiers on the Chinese side, they can be considered the youngest. They had just stood still and hadn't had time to exchange greetings. Then someone else came. Kong Tong sent Fei Yunzi and Fei Chenzi to die. Both of these 2 people are wearing yellow shirts. I don't know if they are related to the legendary Huangshan guest. Kong Yunzheng and Kong Yunyu, members of the Kong clan, came to die. Qin Jinian and Deng Ziming, who were sent by the Qing dynasty on Mission Mountain, came to die. Qing Cheng faction Du Guanjiao and Yu Kanghai came to die. Tianshan sword sect Zhang Danfan and Ling Weifeng came to die. Taiji sect Chongyang Old Taoist, Ningyang Old Taoist, come to die. More and more voices are appearing. More and more figures are appearing. There are all kinds of sects. But everyone can still see it. Although there are many sects, the innate strong ones among them are somewhat rare. Especially later on, many sects only had one person coming. Infinite Sword sect Hans Heimo, came to die. Quanzhen sect Chang Hunzi, came to die. Juxian Zhuangtur Hahai, come to die. Gongsun Lve of Zhueking Valley, comes to die. Bagwoman. Tiandihui. Lan Zokijia. Seeing that there are fewer and fewer people coming, the Chinese people in the live broadcast room finally recognized a fact. The Chinese cultivation world is really a bit weak. And it's not generally weak. All added up, there are just over 100 monks in the Xiantian realm. No wonder Sakurajima Kingdom, Bangsa Kingdom, Asin Kingdom, and the traitor. How dare you be so presumptuous in China? No wonder Mr. Kong Yunzheng and others would say that this dilemma has no solution. From the beginning, he was determined to die and prepared to risk his life. But no one said anything because of this, and they were not qualified to say anything. Everyone probably already knew it from the previous conversations. The Chinese cultivation world has been targeted and purged before. And probably more than once. The most important thing is, as people in the spiritual world, these people all know very well what the current situation in China is like. They all also saw that the forces from all four directions combined, there were 400 to 500 people, who were watching with eager eyes. But he clearly knew that this should be a fierce battle with life and death. They still chose to rush over. Just this courage and righteousness are enough to be remembered by the people of China. But this is not over yet. The beggar gang, Sukan, comes to die. Another voice sounded. The moment they saw this figure, countless people burst into tears. It was not because of this name, which had been made into a TV series, and might be the prototype of Suchier. But because of this person, only one arm and one leg. No one knows what he has experienced. Is it really like Suchier in the film and television drama, who has been brilliant and downgraded? No one knows. His one arm, when was the leg broken? The last great purge in China? Or the last time the small mysterious sect was opened? That doesn't matter. The important thing is, even though he only had one arm and one leg, he still came. Holding it in his hand, wearing a dog-beating stick as a crutch. Representing the beggar gang and dying for China. He. It seems that there is really no one left in your Chinese cultivation world. Even this old beggar with missing arms and legs has to come to make up the number. But does it make sense? It's just that one more dead soul will fall under our swords. Emperor Sakurajima Reijan's smile became even brighter. He was about to take action, but he deliberately stopped to see what China's current strength was. It was not beyond his expectation. Weak. Very weak. Everyone from the Bangsa Kingdom and the Asin Kingdom, as well as the Chinese trader hiding in northern Burma. They were all laughing at this time. They smiled very proudly. The Chinese people watched quietly and did not speak. It was not that they did not want to refute, but it is impossible to refute. Now all the innate monks in China can be considered to be present. The gap with the opponent is still very huge. Although the situation of 1 to 4 is much better than before, it is not much better. Everyone is the realm of innateness. In a 1-on-4 situation, the opponent also has the phantom of Yamata no Orakai holding the battle. Unless it is the late-stage innate master like Mr. Kong, there may still be a chance to pull the enemy back. Others. I'm afraid they won't be able to survive a few rounds. As they say. They just come to die knowing they are outmatched. Zaihi, what kind of emperor of Sakurajima Kingdom has a small amount of money? What you said is wrong. This Grandpa Su from the beggar clan, even if he is now physically disabled. But at least he was a complete human being with a complete soul. You Sakurajima Kingdom royal family, these crooked melons and cracked jujubes born with congenital deformities. Those are the real ones who are missing arms and legs, let's make up for it. In mid-air, a group of Chinese innate monks did not speak. Zhou Xi on the ground was not prepared to coddle the Emperor Ling Yuan, and said angrily unceremoniously. The people in the live broadcast room couldn't help but swipe the title of sweet-tongued sweetheart. But, the atmosphere among the Chinese people in the live broadcast room is still extremely depressed. The cuter and quirkier little 11 is now. The sadder and sadder they are. Maybe this little girl is still, you don't know what you are going to face. You. How dare you, such a slutty brat, to blaspheme our imperial family of Sakurajima Kingdom. Very good. Anyway, you Chinese innate monks have come as they should. Then it starts with you. I want to see if your mysterious father will take action. Zhou Xi was furious. Emperor Reizhan, who had lived for hundreds of years, was directly ignited. The energy in his body surged. Emperor Reizhan of Sakurajima took the lead. A man with a distance of 400 to 500 meters, the huge palm shadow flew out in front of him. He grabbed Zhou Xi on the ground and Yang Mi, Deliriba, and others around her. Old dog. I dare. Mr. Kong Yun's Hung was originally standing in front of Zhou Xi, how could he be allowed to catch Zhou Xi? The same one, a huge palm shape of 400 to 500 meters appeared. Protect Zhou Xi and others in front of you. Boom. Two huge palm shadows struck together. It was as if the earth was shattering and the sound was deafening, making people's eardrums buzz. Even if both of them have offset 90%, wherever the palm wind passed by. There was also a strong wind, and there was constant flying sand and rocks. Just look at it from this palm. Emperor Reizhan of Sakurajima Kingdom and Mr. Kong. It can only be regarded as a half match, no difference. However, this is just the two of them. As the two took action, all the people from all sides who were ready to go took part. This world-shattering battle, in which practitioners from the four forces jointly encircled and suppressed Chinese practitioners, has completely begun. Sakurajima Devil. I am your ancestor. The leader of the Wuliang sword sect, Mr. Hans Heimo, holds a 3-foot green blade. While cursing, he rushed towards an old stickman from the country. Can welcome him. But it was the Bangsa Kingdom. 5 or 6 people attacked at the same time. Bump. There was a muffled sound. Old man Hans Heimo was blown away directly. Visible to the naked eye, his chest was dented. The blood flowed from the corner of his mouth, dyeing his snow-white beard a bright red. In your little days, you are just fucking bastards with missing arms and legs. This arm and this leg of mine are the ones that were opened last time, thanks to you bastards. Today, even if I die, I have to get this place back. Mr. Sukin from the beggar clan. He put one foot in the air and waved a dog-beating stick made of unknown material in his hand, approaching the group of innate strong men from Sakurajima Kingdom. Ding ding. The sound of Jingo and Jinga kept ringing. Various weapons collided with his dog-beating stick. Coupled with the infusion of Zhen Qi, the airflow surged and sparks flew everywhere. It's like a forged iron flower. It looks extremely gorgeous and wonderful. Haha, poof. It's so enjoyable. I haven't had this much fun in a long time. You bastards can't do it? Why are you so cautious? Come on, let's fight together. People die and birds fly to the sky, afraid of a ball. Mr. Sukin was vomiting blood and laughing loudly. The ferocious appearance looked a bit terrifying. It frightened the few little devils around him and made them even more cautious. After all, they have a large number of people and their advantages are very obvious, so they don't want to fight so hard. Perhaps, it is because China is all determined to die. At the beginning of the battle, the opponent did not have an overwhelming advantage. But the situation is not optimistic. Such a life and death struggle is nothing more than a temporary measure. And everyone is getting injured one after another. As time goes by, the situation will only get worse. Audiences in the live broadcast room. Looking at the figures fighting bloody battles one by one. Listen to their heart-rending shouts and laughter. Almost all of them shed tears while watching the live broadcast. Even, they started to feel a little resentful. That stinky man is the root of all this. Why hasn't he shown up yet? Could it be that he was really afraid? Or did he really choose to hide in order to preserve the fire of China? Although rationally, everyone can understand it. But looking at so many old people who are over 60 years old, they are facing the siege from all directions. In their hearts, it is really difficult to accept it. Mom, let me go. I'm going to help too. Zhou Xi was about to take action at the first moment of the battle. But she was held back by Yang Mi. She knew that her daughter was just an acquired skill. She couldn't even fly in the air. How could she participate? All of this, it's a battle of the innately strong. The most important thing is, in Yang Mi's heart, there is also some expectation. She hopes that man can give her another surprise. Since yesterday, the surprise that stinky man has brought to Yang Mi, it has never been broken. He has a net worth of tens of billions, not to mention worldly things. The main thing is that he has trained his daughter beyond imagination. At the age of 5 or 6, she is already so powerful. Even he has not yet predicted what will happen next. So what about this time? Yang Mi doesn't believe that he will really hide. The man he chooses will never be wrong. He may have calculated the situation. At the critical moment, we can turn the tide and turn things around. But Yang Mi and Dilruba's mobile phones are almost broken. They are still not in the service area. Therefore, Yang Mi can only grab her daughter and put her hope on her. Baby. Tell mom truthfully. Is your dad really not around? Where is he? Have you ever thought that something like this would happen? Have you been prepared for this? Yang Mi asked quickly, word by word. With a pair of beautiful red eyes, she looked straight at her daughter, hoping that she could give her a satisfactory answer. The audience in the live broadcast room. After hearing what Yang Mi said, the voices all pricked up their ears. This is also what they are concerned about. Mommy. The baby really doesn't know where his father has gone. But dad seems to have said it before. Before the Dachuanman opens. He is going to a place far, far away. Do something very, very important. What else can I say? Even though there are tens of thousands of people, I will go. As for today's situation, Bao doesn't know whether he expected it or not. After all, dad is only a human being. He can speculate, evolve, and divine. But it's impossible to hold all the future in your hands. Not to mention humans, even the legendary gods cannot do this. Zhou Xi's words were very soft. After Yang Mi and Dilruba listened, they only felt their hearts sink. The audience in the live broadcast room also had a very bad premonition. It's over. Huaxia, I'm afraid I really can't bear it anymore. What did that man do? Is there anything more important than this moment? Haha. After today, there will no longer be an innate strong person in China. The charming old woman from Bangsa Kingdom suddenly screamed several times in the air. And in front of her, there was already a corpse. It was the leader of the Bagua section, Lu Qianyuan. Everyone in the live broadcast room completely collapsed. But it's not over yet. After the old woman killed Lu Qianyuan, the leader of the Bagua sect, she reached out and grabbed her. She was ready to crush the ghost of Mr. Lu Qianyuan directly. This scene made Huaxia, the other monks in the country were all stunned. They wanted to help, but each of them had to face 4 or 5 enemies. They even fought hard to protect themselves. How could they get away? Seeing that the old woman's ghost claws were about to catch the ghost of Mr. Lucien, everyone was completely in despair. Suddenly, a cold light flashed. Chi! The coquettish old woman from Bangsa Kingdom, that ghost claw that looks like a dead bone. Suddenly it stopped in mid-air. Then, half of the ghost claw detached from the body and fell downwards. That's right. That charming old woman's ghost claw was broken without any warning. Neatly broken. It breaks cleanly. After a long while, black blood spurted out from the fracture. And that charming old woman didn't realize what happened until this moment. Ah! Who cut off my hand? Holding her broken arm, the charming old woman howled like a ghost. What everyone didn't expect was, there was actually someone who responded to her yelling and screaming. Does it hurt? Don't worry. Cut off your neck and no one will be hurt.